Bigfoot out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Bob Chandler's the guy that started the craze.
He did that. Believe the man to be the first one to build a monster truck, and this is a brand new 1987 version of Bigfoot.
Now there's what, five Bigfoot and one Ms. Bigfoot.
Right now, I believe they've got 6 of the trucks currently. This is the brand new one. 3 Predator carburetors setting on top of a supercharged Hemi Ford motor. Full race Hemi Ford motor.
Now here's the battle coming up. Bigfoot against Bud Boss.
There's the 1987 version of Bigfoot right there. Supercharged Hemi Ford motor and a 1987 Ford truck. Of course, Bigfoot blue, and it is a beautiful truck. Brand new truck, and first time it's been out this way.
Bob Chandler out of St. Louis, Missouri, who started the original monster truck back in 1973.
Tell you what, Bob's been an innovator in more things than just the monster trucks.
Gonna battle the Budweiser Boss.
Budweiser Boss. Bigfoot putting it through its paces. Look at that, pulling the sled. There's the weight box is stopped, and Bigfoot just keeps right on trucking. Oh, look at this, he's taking it out. He's taking it out. He's got the weight all the way up. He drug it completely out of the stadium. He drug it out of the stadium. Unbelievable exhibition of power from Bigfoot.
Here comes the Budweiser Boss now, running from the left field line, as Bigfoot, I think, could have dragged that thing right out through the parking lot and on into I-5. Bob Kurtz, Mike Galloway, battle of the monster trucks. Here at the Big A in Anaheim, you're looking at Super Pete. Mike Welsh out of Bellingham, Washington, all set to run in the first heat.
Got some wild action that's going to take place here this evening. Here's Showtime. This is Brian Shell. He's out of your hometown, Detroit, Michigan. They're getting wild right out of the box.
Super Pete.
Showtime. Oh, look out. Super Pete is just about went over.
There he goes.
Super Pete is just ripping them and riding.
Showtime is stuck.
He's over the first 6 cars.
Here comes Super Pete taking his infield turn now.
Down the back straightaway.
He's got 6 cars lined up.
Oh, Super Pete just about bought it.
Now Showtime has finally gotten over his first hurdle.
Don't count Showtime out because he can come back and come back strong. I believe he just... Look at this. Look at the Pete. The Pete is flying over those cars.
He's got it now.
What a comeback. Mike Welch is doing a great job.
And the minute he finishes on the last car and the rear wheels touch, Super Pete's the winner.
There's Mike, and a beautiful job with Super Pete. And he goes home a winner tonight. Look at this.
He almost lost it right there.
Slid off to the right, and when he did, the truck veered off that way, and the weight almost pulled that truck over on its side. We're very lucky. Mike's very lucky that he got out of that one.
Well, you're looking at hot stuff. Jeff Bainter is in his first competition. He's been at this sport only 2 months.
1986 CJ7, weighs 13,500 pounds.
And there's Leadfoot with Brian Dennis.
Makes his home in Flagstaff, Arizona, and this is an El Camino monster truck. This ought to be quite a race. Green flag's down. Here we go. Hot Stuff jumps out early and broke the wheel off. Went up on its nose. My heavens, look at that.
Wheel broke off. Hot Stuff has to complete the round. But Leadfoot broke the wheel.
Broken axle off of the El Camino. There's Brian getting out of that truck and doing it in a hurry. Hot Stuff is enjoying a win this time around, but
it'll never get any easier, will it?
He won't this competition. that tire and wheel laying there on the ground weighs over 1,000 pounds, so it's not something that you just pick up and go with. I would venture to say that Brian is shook just a little bit.
It's an expensive proposition.
Jeff's, all he has to do is cross the final 6 cars and come out a winner. And he's going to take it slow and easy, the way he should. Jumps up on top.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Right on across, and down he goes.
So hot Jeff Boehner, in his first competition, comes away here at Anaheim a winner. Ryan Cardiff and Hawaiian Punch.
Hawaiian Punch up against Flying High. A little truck out of Arizona, and Hawaiian Punch got a quick lead, but right now, Flying High makes it up. Flying High now is taking a lead. Hawaiian Punch is in some trouble. Hawaiian Punch is in trouble motor-wise. Flying High is flying high right this minute.
And Hawaiian Punch is smoking.
Mark Dye is doing a job on him from Phoenix, Arizona. This is the little supercharged Chevrolet motor in this beautiful little truck. And I'll tell you what, watch out. He's going to get them all the way up. Whoa.
Almost won.
Hold on. Hold on. That little quick, agile truck is doing a heck of a job tonight. Right there, that marks him out a winner tonight. Flying High, Mark Dye out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Matched the name on that one. He was flying high. Just had a little bit of difficulty at the start of the 6 cars piled in the infield. Monster truck competition continues here in Anaheim. Barefoot, Fred Schaefer out of Granite City, Illinois, down by St. Louis.
Supercharged alcohol-burning big block Chevrolet and Fred Schaefer's Barefoot. Of course, this is the truck that was in the ZZ Top sleeping bag video. And then there's the toy.
From Romeo, Michigan, which is near Detroit. Joe Reinke is the owner and the driver. Here we go.
Watch Fred Schaefer flying over him. The toy coming on strong. Barefoot is wanting this victory. And this is a close race. If anybody's race at this time. Barefoot slides in. He's heading for those 6 cars. Watch out. We're liable to see daylight underneath him. Oh, look at that. High in the air, and he's still going. It's a close race as they head down to the straightaway.
Yeah, here comes the toy.
Fred Schaefer's going to make the swing. The toy's cut off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, upside down. Fred Schaefer has just flipped Barefoot. Let's hope he's all right.
And the toy is going to come home a winner, but he tried to take that turn way too quickly.
Fred had the power down on it absolutely too hard. When he turned it, the tires bit the ground, rolled on the edge, and when they did that, the truck went on over. Fred's out of the car. Fred's out of the truck. Right there's Fred.
Great to see that he's all right.
Right there, tires bit in, and Fred goes right over on the lid and rolls on over on the top of it.
What kind of safety features do they have built in there, Mike?
They've got a roll cage there, and hopefully it held up, and it did hold up enough that Fred wasn't injured. Of course, he wears the helmet. He's got the shoulder harness and the seat belts on him, and there's Fred. Fred doesn't want to leave his truck right now. That truck's Fred's pride and joy, and Barefoot comes from Fred's 2 pet black bears. Awesome Kong and Monster Mash. Awesome Kong with a V12 Allison aircraft engine, and Monster Mash with a big block Chevrolet, and it's close at this time. Awesome Kong got a small lead. Monster Mash making up some time, and Monster Mash is going to make his turn. Awesome Kong heading down the straightaway. Awesome Kong in the lead, but he's still got a lot of ground to cover. Monster Mash just now attacking the cars. He's about 3 car lengths behind. Awesome Kong out of Killeen, Texas, and he takes the lead. Should have this one won.
Say Mike Welch driving in the 2nd race tonight.
Mike owns a pair of these trucks. Right now, it's Awesome Car. Look out, look out, look out. Monster Mash may pull off an upset. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
I don't think that Monster Mash came off with both tires off the back end of his last car.
Don't believe he did. Don't believe he did. I think the wind's going to go to Awesome Car.
Bigfoot is here, Mike, and is going to make a special run tonight.
Going to let the guys take a look at the man to beat right here. Seeing how the truck's handling over the cars, and it's doing great. Jim kind of airing it out, and he'll air the motor. He's got quite a run at those 6 cars. Watch this. He could very well clear all of those cars. Let's see how he lines up. Got everything on go. Could take it this time, checking it out. Oh, wow. High in the air for Bigfoot as he just crutches the bunch.
Just the last heap or 2 remaining, and they're pretty well mashed down.
I'll tell you what, Bigfoot's not going to help matters in the least. Jim heading around the last shot, gets high in the air, working them over. Taking a rough ride, up and over, up and over. Outstanding job, as usual, by Bigfoot.
That's what they paid to see, and they come out, and Bigfoot closing the show here at the Big A in Anaheim.
It's going to be a great battle of the monster trucks, and this is just starting the race. Todd Blazer in the blue and red Hawaiian Punch over on the far side. On the close side is Gary Sadden in the Skull Bandit truck. Both of these trucks, strangely enough, run out of the same stable. They both come out of Golden State's pickup parts stable. They have 3 monster trucks that are on hand tonight, and it's going to be very tough competition. The little Skull Bandit truck you're looking right straight in the face of. It's quick, it's short, it's agile. The longer truck, supercharged motor, and it will be high horsepower on the Hawaiian Punch truck.
These guys aren't into rehabilitation, are they?
They are definitely not that. There's a good shot of Todd Blazer, and that's the supercharged motor. Big horsepower on that truck. So let's see what happens. Is it going to be the short, agile truck or the big, long truck with the big supercharged horsepower? It's a battle of the monster trucks. They've got a big course ahead of them. It's side-by-side competition until we come out with a winner. Here we go. Flag is out. Side by side, looks like they are very close. They're very close, and they've got problems. Both of them are in a little bit of trouble. But the Bandit takes the lead. The Bandit takes the lead. This Hawaiian Punch truck is in trouble. The Bandit is out of the lead. He's headed down across the back. What would be center field for his second set of cars. Gary is doing a great job. He's easing around, trying to save some time. Has some problems on the back set of cars. Now they've got to race back to home plate. They're going to race back to home plate. And right now, it's anyone's battle. Todd is having problems. Look at that. Hawaiian Punch truck is really in a bind over on the back straightaway. This one's going to go to the Skull Bandit truck if nothing happens. Now, this truck is really going to have to take its time. Gary knows he's got a lead, but Todd is hung up over on the back straightaway. It looks like it's going to be the Bandit, and the Bandit, worse for wear. Uh-oh, looks like the steering. Looks like he may have broken the steering on that truck. He's got rear wheel steering only. He hasn't finised the course yet,
He has not. He has not. So he may have to turn around and back this thing home, huh?
Well, he's going to have to drop out of the competition because broke the steering on the front end. They're going to give it to him. He's going to have just a short time to try to repair that truck and get ready to go again.
Wow. Well, here comes round 2, and the boss is Jim Reese, the toy, which I guess is probably the biggest contradiction in here tonight. That is no toy, but that is one big monster truck with Joe Rake behind the wheel.
Joe Rake, the toy, going up against the boss.
What in the heck is going on there in the toy?
Joe's out winding the toy up.
Oh, my goodness.
He wants to get all the horsepower he can out of the toy, so he'll wind it up, get him a little speed going. This is going to be a good race. Here again, we got a real light truck, very maneuverable, the toy, but over in the other side, the boss. Jim Reese, here is one of the hardest charging drivers on the monster truck circuit. Jim Reese, the AM/PM boss, his 1972 Chevrolet. Watch him. He is one tough driver. He will hammer all the way on the truck. I'd look for the boss to really jump out in the lead. He's quick on start. He knows how to handle the truck. The truck's been very successful. Let's see if he does it. It's the toy and the boss in round 2 of monster truck competition. Here we go. Reese out to a quick lead. Reese first one up on the cars. He gets a lot of air. So does the toy. The toy in problem, having real problem over on the first set of cars. Reese makes the turn. He's in good shape. Reese will go to the far set of cars now. He sees he's got a lead. You know, he's letting up on it. He's taking his time. He knows that he can make this one. He can very possibly go into the next round. The toy is up. They're going to have to give the win to the boss. The boss cannot come back around. The toy is still sitting on the set of cars that he's to jump now.
He wouldn't crush the toy, would he?
He wouldn't touch the toy if the toy doesn't move in a very short while.
That's right. They better get out there and wind the toy back up again. But it's the boss's race. Don't mess with the boss.
Well, you look at the front of the toy, the drive shaft. There he is underneath it, and the drive shaft is in his left hand. That's the front drive shaft, and he sheared that off. He pulled it out when he went in, and no front drive, lots of problems for the toy.
Amen. Let's take a look and see where the toy got into trouble, Mike.
Leaves good, having a little bit of problem controlling the truck right off the starting line. Now watch when he hits this set of cars. Right there is where the problems arise for him, and it may happen when he lands, and there it is. When he lands, the front drive shaft drops out of it, and that's all of it for the toy.
Not supposed to be flopping around like that, is it? In the Barbarian, he will be on the far side of your picture in the white van, and So High 2 will come down the first base line.
Well, the So High 2, a very, very pretty truck out of Arizona, but you've got to watch the little Barbarian. 43-inch tires on it. This is a brand new truck, only the second time it's been out in competition. You've got to watch that truck. I know the driver of it, Bruce, is super tough. He knows how to handle it. He's been driving for quite some time. He has no fear. He'll hammer the truck, and he'll go for everything it's worth. It'll go or blow, as they would say, but the Barbarian van up against one called So High.
There's the Barbarian right there, but you know, the So High 2, it seems to be sitting up, purchased higher perhaps than the other trucks that we've seen, is it?
It is, and it has a bigger set of tires on it. These are what they call 74s. These are the biggest set of tires in monster truck racing at the current time. They're heavier tires. Now, Bruce runs a real light truck. The little Barbarian van, it's light, it's agile, it gets around quick. There's the little shot of the 43s. This is what the tires were when we originally started monster trucks. These were considered monster tires. And then the tires went up and up and up. And Bruce still makes a very successful run with the little tires on the van. He's tough. He's real tough. He's not only good running truck, but he's a very good driver. There's the big 77.
Here we go.
He's going to have to hurry because So High is out on top. So High doing a great job. So High is really taking this one. This could be a big upset. The Barbarian hit the cars. He didn't have enough speed to get up on top of them. Does it again. He's still climbing to get up. He barely makes it up. Now he's got a lot of time to make up. But Bruce Gunn is going to try it. He's going to try to go for it. There is the one called So High. He's over the last set of cars. Look at this. Look at this. Bruce. Oh, Bruce hits him like a brick wall. He just ran up and went for everything he was worth. I don't think the front tires are actually climbing on this. No. Look at that. He's wiped the steering out of it. He's wiped it completely out. Here it is. Oh, look how high. Look how high that beautiful truck is getting. He's got to get down off the cars. He's got to cross that finish line. He may be the first successful man. He is. He's the first one to cross the finish line tonight in competition.
No contest. So High 2, the first to cross the finish line tonight. Let's take a look and see where Barbarian really got into a heap of trouble, and it's right here.
Well, he's trying to make up some precious time, and he does it. Bruce does a great job. He handles the truck well. He's making up some precious time, and watch this. Uh-oh, it won't go. He backs up. He's going to back up just a little bit and try it again. He's got to get got to get a little more speed, and the tires need to get a hold and climb, and what's happening is the tires aren't climbing. But at that time, well, the man that had really done it all was so high, too.
All right, right now it's going to be the Skull Bandit, Gary Saban behind the wheel, and the boss, Jim Reese. Jim, we noticed maybe having a little trouble up front, but we'll see if it holds up. The Skull Bandit, of course, winning in the first heat, so now they go in this next elimination series. Good shot of the Skull Bandit.
Well, he had some problems earlier, and they've been over in the pit area fixing the
steering, right?
Front steering on the truck, so he's ready to go. The boss is sitting poised, and this will be a very good race. These guys are very good friends, spend a lot of time together, but that's all over with. That's history. It's time to go racing.
Well, let me ask you this. These 57 Buicks are pretty well crushed down at this point. Does that make it a faster race now around the track?
Makes it a much quicker course. A much quicker course. The cars have just, they're lower. You can hit them harder. You can run harder. There's a shot of the big block Chevrolet. Look at all the shocks underneath the boss, and they need it. You can tell that for the simple reason that they hit these cars with such speed and such force. 14,000 pounds of monster trucks, both of them poised on go. Both of them carbureted big blocks.
You don't get a set of shocks for these things for like $14.95 a pair, do you?
There's no way.
Side by side, the boss and the Skull Bandit, and it's showtime.
They're off. Who's going to be the first one out? It looks like Skull Bandit is out in the lead. Skull Bandit has got a little bit of a lead over the boss. Jim Reese, he can make up a lot of time, but right now, look out. The Bandit has got the lead. The Bandit is in the lead. He hits the cars first. He's flying. He's flying. Look at Reese. He's just cleared them. Reese has made up precious time. Reese has made up unbelievable time. It's going to be a showdown at the finish line. It's going to be a showdown. Reese clears all the cars. Reese is all over it. He wins it. He wins it. The boss pulls it out. The boss pulls it out. Jim Reese pulls it out.
He actually cleared the entire pack of cars out in center field. I mean, just on the fly.
Watch him. He clears the cars, all of them, and then some. Now there, look at the landing. Front end up in the air. All he can do is hold on. It's still bouncing. That's the far set of cars out in center field. Now he makes the turn. He lines up, and he does it on the run. Watch him. Hammer down. Hits the cars. Never touches them again. He could have probably cleared 5 more. Oh, it almost went over. Settles back down, and he's across the finish line for a great big win for the AM/PM boss.
Well, they're rolling out the military now. This is the Gator with George Cole behind the wheel against the Virginia Beach Beast. William Powers driving that one. The Gator's an interesting truck. It's a 77 Chevy, but got a little bit of camouflage on it, too.
Well, it definitely has that. It is a military tank driveline under it. Has a big 454 cubic inch motor setting in the back of it, as does the Virginia Beach Beast. Now the winner of this one will go up against the winner in the rubber-tired monster truck race.
Now, what would these be used for, Mike? Just quick little, jaunts out to the 7-Eleven for some milk late at night?
Either out to the 7-Eleven or through the 7-Eleven.
Got you.
This is going to be a great race. These guys with the tank really don't let up. They go wide open from the time they leave. They steer with individual sticks, much like the heavy equipment, lock the tracks up and turn. They'll run about 40 miles an hour on the ground, and they're really exciting. You don't have to worry about a flat either.
No, I wouldn't think. Tank trucks side by side.
They're fast, they're agile, they get around quick, and it's going to be a really tough competition.
I would think that they would probably, with that kind of traction, go over the cars a little bit easier than some of those big rubber tire cars.
They will, and they'll destroy the cars. They weigh about 40,000 pounds apiece. Watch out. Virginia Beach Beast. Now they're both out. They start slow, but they go from there. Watch this. Never let up. The Gator over the top. It is close. The Beast is right beside him. Now they make the turn. This is very critical because they're side by side. Look at them. The race is wide open. They're not going to let up. I believe the Beast has got a little bit of a lead. The Gator is really coming on strong. The winner is going to be right here at home plate as they make the turn and head for the chute. Who's it going to be? They're side by side. It's the Beast. The Beast is in the lead. The Beast loses control. The Beast loses control. And let's wait on a winner. Whoa!
Oh, my goodness.
And they meet for a friendly visitation on the finish line.
The crowd loves it. And what a finish. Oh!
The Beast is wide open. He is really flying. Look at the parts come off the cars. Now, he loses control. He gets it sideways. He brings it back around, and when he does that, he's back on the throttle all the way. At that time, about that time, here comes the Gator. They're both there at same place, same time, and it's hello.
They gave it to the Gator.
The Gator. The Gator takes that one. Now, do you fill out insurance forms on this?
I think you better. The granddaddy, the grand poobah of monster trucks, Bigfoot, Jim Kramer in the saddle tonight.
This is a brand new Bigfoot truck. It's built to do something that, as of this time, no one has done. Jim Kramer is not going to crush cars. He's going to try to fly over them. He's got to hit the ramps at about 40 to 43 miles an hour. And what he will do, he'll come out, look at things, he'll crush the cars, kind of get the feel of it.
Just a little warm-up.
Oh, this is just a warm-up. I mean, this is a walk in the park for the foot. But when he comes back around after this crush, he will be ready to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Looks like about 14 cars. He's going to try to jump 10. He'd like to go to 12. He'll make 2 attempts at it. He's looking at the landing spot on it.
You can imagine 7
brand new truck. Now tell me about it. Is it different than the other Bigfoots?
The roll cage has been reinforced on the inside. There's a lot more driver safety. You see a lot more braces going across the inside of the truck. The truck's a little lighter. He's turning for it. He's looking at it right now. He'll probably maybe attack and come off a little bit. He'll back up and get a run. It's got to run about 43 miles an hour. Now, what he's done, he's got some room to shut down. The landing is ever so critical. I think Jim maybe want to just get the cars down a little bit more. A couple of them he didn't destroy enough on the first time.
He's got a good landing surface to land on.
Kind of like a rolling trash compactor, huh?
It truly is. I tell you what, the man is unbelievable. He's incredible as far as the way this truck works. Now, we talk about jumping 14 cars or jumping 10 cars, 12 cars, whatever the number is. It was set up earlier that the number of cars to be jumped will be measured by the front tires, not the rear tires. So it's where the front tires land. So he will actually clear more cars than it looked like. It's where the front tires land is what is considered the jump distance.
But of course, the driver of Bigfoot is just as much an attraction as the truck itself. And our Mike Galloway had a chance to meet Jim Kramer up close and personal.
I'm with Jim Kramer, and tonight Jim Kramer is driving the Bigfoot truck. And Jim, we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of the competition, it's a jump.
That's correct. We're coming out here attempting to jump 12 cars. You can see the cars there behind me. The problem is the last car is right in line with the left field foul pole, and if I don't get stopped in time, I might end up on the pole. But
Jim, is it tougher jumping the cars than it is running the competition? Is it harder on you, or is it harder on the equipment?
it's a terrific impact. In order to achieve the distance I need, I'm having to hit the cars 40 to 42 miles an hour. The initial impact is very bad. And of course, coming down is not as bad, I think, as some of the competition events coming down, because you do land on a nice bed of cars. Sometimes in the competition, you have to clear the cars to stay competitive.
Well, Jim Kramer is going to go for 12 tonight. We'll be waiting to see what he does.
First time ever this has been attempted. Jim Kramer from St. Louis at the wheel.
I think he can do it. Watch him. Hanging it out a little bit. He'll get into it. That was a good jump. He was just kind of testing the water. I think when he comes back around this time, You know, I don't think he had that 40-mile-an-hour speed that time.
I don't think you can practice this, can you? You kind of just go out there and do it.
You just have to do it. Now they're looking at him. They're going to talk to him. The guys on the ground have a good view that Jim doesn't have. Everything looks all right. Drive line seems to be in good shape. This is it. Thumbs up from Kramer. He's going for it. He's got it wide open. Hanging out, hanging out. Kramer Hayes, look at that! All over it.
2 bounces and off.
Unbelievable. On the binders, brings it to a stop. The truck's in good shape. Outstanding jump for Jim Kramer.
All right, we're going to look at this again from the low angle. This is what transpired. Jim Kramer, Bigfoot, making the leap.
43 miles an hour. Watch him get airborne. This is a 12,000-pound truck, and he... Oh!
2 and off.
I'm telling you, the man has just got to be made of iron. Can you imagine the beating that he's taking inside that truck when it's landing, throwing him all around? As usual, Bigfoot. What can you say?
Steals the show. Back at the Big A, Ken Brew along with Mike Galloway, and we are ready for the battle of the monster trucks here in Anaheim. It's a double elimination. And in round 1, we've got Hot Stuff against the Rocket. And the driver of Hot Stuff, a story in herself. It is Debbie Roden from Yakima, Washington.
Debbie, a tremendous driver. She started driving last summer full-time. And one thing about it, she absolutely knows no fear. This truck, by the way, this Hot Stuff truck, not too long ago with Jeff Boehner driving it, beat Bigfoot in Pontiac, Michigan to go on and went on to win the big battle of the monster truck up there.
Now, on the other side of it is the Rocket, Jim Reese from not too far from here in Buena Park, California. That's a 72 Chevy big block, 540 cubic inch, and a whole lot of horsepower.
Well, it's fuel-injected motor, and it's brand new. Jim Reese has probably built as many as anyone.
Now, what they're going to do is go up a foul line over 2 sets of cars. So you'll see them actually start here at home plate and then split, go up the foul line, over 1 set of cars, and come back in center field over another set of cars. It really is going to be kind of an interesting thing.
This is going to be a great race. This AM/PM Rocket, owned by Seth and Meredith Dolton, owns several monster trucks. Jim Reese, the builder, he has built probably 8 or 9 of these monster trucks. Does a great job. Debbie knows no fear. She can really leg one out. She'll run it for everything she's worth. The turns are going to be a little tight. You're going down the first base foul line. The turn's a little wider. You can get a little more turn there. The other one, it's a lot tighter turn. It's a lot tighter turn on the third base foul line. They're off and running. Let's see what happens. It's going to be Jim Reese to the cars first. Reese hits the cars on the front. Debbie's on the move. She's on the side of it. She's off. And it's going to be real close. I don't think that Reese has got that much of a lead. He makes a wide turn. He's down the outside edge. He's over the back area. Reese has got a little bit of a lead. Now he's got to make another turn and over another set of cars. Look at that. He picks it up. Puts it on his side. He's got to go for it. He's got to leg it out. Can he do it? He's up in the air. He's flying high. Debbie's got it down. It's going to be the AM/PM Rocket.
Oh, my goodness.
That was great racing.
Oh, and they both came dangerously close to wiping out. Both landed on that 1 set of wheels on the side. There is the AM/PM Rocket. Jim Reese out of the cab. He has won this heat, round 1, but a nice piece of driving by Debbie Roden to avoid wiping out just going over that first set of cars.
Debbie never let up on it. If you could get a shot over there, Debbie's taking the pillows out from behind her back, where she was propped up inside of it.
But it's the Rocket that wins. There is Debbie. She did not, but it's the Rocket that wins. Now, Mike, in round 2, we were supposed to have an elimination between Bigfoot and the Wrangler, but apparently the Wrangler is a no-show, so it will be the Rocket that moves into the finals against Bigfoot.
Well, the Rocket coming back immediately. Now, Bigfoot has not made a pass over it tonight. Motor is still cool. This situation, you know, can go either ways. Maybe the warm-up pass has helped Jim Reese. Maybe sitting back in the area without running has hurt Jim Kramer a little bit. But both of the trucks are on go, and this is for it. The winner of this will go against the Tank in the final.
Right.
So this is a very important race. I don't know who I would give any kind of an edge to.
It's an interesting thing that you say about Bigfoot not having the warm-up time of the first pass that the Rocket had, but maybe in another way that's good.
Well, it's very possible. Now, Jim Reese has been over the cars. Jim Kramer has not been over the cars, but everyone knows what a pro Jim Kramer is. Here we go. This is going to be the race of the night, no doubt. Kramer is way out. It is so close. I believe I'm going to have to give a little lead to right now to Bigfoot. Bigfoot has got a lead. He's in trouble. He's got motor problems. There's something going away on Bigfoot. It can be in the transmission. It may be in the motor, but he's not showing any. He's out of it completely. Let's see who's it going to be. Jim Reese has crashed the truck. Jim Reese crashed the truck when he made the jump. He hit the side and crashed the front end of the truck down.
Bigfoot wins despite the motor troubles after the Rocket, as you can see, crashes. So Bigfoot, there's a lesson: never give up, even when you know it doesn't look great. There you can see the smoke billowing out of Bigfoot, and he probably is done for the night himself. But with the, sticking in there, even with all those engine troubles, he winds up winning the heat.
Well, from what they're doing over on the Bigfoot truck, it looks like the transmission may have puked a lot of fluid out of it, and it caught on fire because they're squirting the extinguisher back towards the transmission area. Now, Jim Reese made a good jump. When it landed, though, it landed on the knoll. There's a couple of large berms out here, and he landed on the side of one of those berms that curled the front end up into the cab. A brand new truck, and I mean first time out for this truck. So it's a very unfortunate incident. Let's take a replay look.
Boy, these guys were all business, weren't they?
They wanted it. It just, I mean, there's more on the line than you'll ever know right here. Let's watch what happened. Jim Kramer, very good jump. He's got a good pass going for him. He lands good. Watch him on this turn. It's a good tight turn. Here's where Reese comes in. Reese doing a real good job. Jimmy Reese is doing a great job with the Rocket, the AM/PM Rocket. He is just flying. There you see Bigfoot in trouble. The smoke coming out, I believe that's out of the transmission area. It could be just fluid coming out of it. Jim Reese makes a slide. He's lined up. Now watch the truck on right here. Reese hits the side, and look at the front end of it. Does not break a tie rod. It just jerks it around.
There goes what's left of the Rocket. It probably looks worse than it is. They can get that back in the shop and fix it real easy, but...
Well, I hope so. You know, the Golden State Pickup Parts built this truck. There's the man that he is very concerned about it. That's Bob Chandler, and Bob Chandler checking with his lead driver, Jim Kramer. Are gonna go over and look things over. Here's Bigfoot going over the first set of cars. Let's watch him get high in the air, a little bit off to Jim Kramer's left. You see him land a little bit off to the side. He lands a little bit off to the side, and a beautiful job coming out of it.
Boy, he did some good driving on that.
We just received word that the Rocket won that round.
How could he win, though, if he didn't...
The finish line must be at the end of the card.
Okay.
But they're calling the Rocket the winner, but the Rocket cannot come back, so they will put Bigfoot into the final.
For the second level of competition tonight are the Monster Tanks. And there is the track attack. Ernie Brookins from Fargo, North Dakota. The Battle of the Monster Tanks will feature Ernie Brookins from Fargo, North Dakota. One of the greatest baseball players of all time was from Fargo, Roger Maris. And now, here so many years later, a driver athlete, if you will, in Ernie Brookins. 427 Chevy Big Block.
Ernie Brookins is pretty sharp in these tanks. He's all around tough. Ernie is the first person to build one of these late model M55 retrievers, tank retrievers used during the Korean War. Ernie's like 8'6" wide, 7'4" high, about 18'10" long, and weighs 19,900 pounds. That is lightweight for a tank.
That's light.
Now, there's a shot of Ernie. Look at the cage around him. He's got a complete roll cage. Ernie Brookins is an old race car driver. He has ran almost every kind of vehicle you've ever seen. Here's California Gold.
Yeah. I was gonna say California Gold. Interesting in itself that it comes from right around the corner here in Newberry Springs, California. Again, a Chevy blown engine, 481, but heavy, 26,000 pounds.
Ken Brew, listen to this. 3 o'clock this afternoon, they finished California Gold and loaded it on the trailer. So they've had it done about just a short while. Watch them run. Ernie Brooker is really hanging out. Look out.
Oh, my
Brooker
goodness.
is really, he cleared along. But now back over to California Gold. It's the first time ever. Look at Ernie Brooker over on the far side, the tank attack. Ernie Brooker is flying. He says 4 cars is not enough for him. He'll miss them all. He'll jump them all. Let's see what he does. He's headed out for them.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that, Ken. Did you see that?
Great driving by Ernie Brooker.
And what did he do when he landed on his nose? He nailed the throttle and went on with it.
And a lot of smoke now coming out of the track attack. There you see California Gold finishing up. There is the track attack. Mike, when he came down, it almost seemed to tip over. What did he have to do there? Did he have to accelerate at that point?
He had to get on the throttle. He had to just absolutely stand on the throttle and let it pull itself out. And there's your winner of this round.
My goodness.
Ernie Brooken out of Fargo. That's his wife and his #1 pit person beside him.
A lot of smoke. I don't know if that's cause for concern. I would think more concerned with what's happened to the cars, but
well, Ken Brew,
that looks like my car that I rented from Hertz.
It was.
Oh, no.
And that is underlined was.
Track attack, the winner in round 1 of the Monster Tanks. There will be a runoff with the winner of round 2, and that will feature something that I know you'll be interested in. The latest endeavor of Alan Gaines. Let's take a look at this again, Mike. The way he drove, Ernie Brookins was sensational. Here's California Gold.
First time out, and the California Gold driver got to be concerned. You know, he's only finished at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Here's Ernie. Look at the tight turn with Ernie. Good job, real tight. Heads it down the chutes, up over the berm, and just absolutely flying with this retriever. They run a custom-built rear end, a Crowder glide with an airshift Linko. Watch him jump. Watch the front end of it get high in the air, and then it noses over. Almost, you can see Ernie sitting inside, his hands spread out, one hand on each throttle and control, and he lands. He was getting a lot of smoke out of it at that time. There is the man that a number of years ago started all of this madness. That's Bob Chandler. Bigfoot Fast Tracks. And the gentleman standing to Bob's immediate left is Dan Dubes, and in his hand is the kill switch for the Fast Track. Dan will take over driving Fast Tracks at the conclusion of tonight's show. Bob says that I retired once before, and I'm going to retire again. You know, the guys at the shop like it when Bob Chandler retires because they don't tear up near as much equipment. Oh, he took the glasses off. Look at this. Look at this.
Here is the story of the night. Alan Gaines has finally come up with a monster truck, monster tank truck.
Oh, wait, kid. How could you call that a monster tank truck?
Well, but it is. But I think what we got to understand,
it's a train.
It's a train. Alan Gaines, who is in love with the Orange Blossom Special moniker, has come up with the real Orange Blossom Special. The Orange Blossom Special was a train. Why not make a monster tank out of a train?
Now, Alan has never been over the cars in this one. So we're seeing a lot of brand new things here tonight.
Well, you had a first-hand look at that. You know, we saw you ride in on the Open tonight.
Boy, and the horsepower and the quickness of that thing.
You said you can feel that when you're driving. Your body just shudders.
You can, and it's got such instant response. Now, that vehicle weighs more than any vehicle I've ever seen in competition. 30-some thousand pounds, and that's 35,000, and that's a guesstimate weight.
Well, if this was baseball, this would be like Willie Mays against Hank Aaron in a home run hitting contest. Two of the biggest names in pulling today.
the two biggest names.
Yeah, I said two of. You're right, two of the biggest.
But
they're not. They are the two biggest.
You got
Alan Gaines and Bob Chandler.
You got to remember, Allen's never done this before, and Chandler started it all. Look out! Here comes Fast Track, and Allen is. Can he do it? Well, Allen's doing a great job. He's doing a good job. He's keeping it all in line anyway. Hold on, Allen. Look, Bob Chandler is just absolutely zipping around this track. He is just truly zipping. Oh, he had a problem making a turn there. Let's see how Allen's still after it. Chandler takes a win.
Chandler takes the win, and now Allen will finish off on the far track. Allen is really getting bounced around inside that cab. Watch him as he comes over. Look at him getting bounced around.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
He's taking a beating completely. I believe he lost his helmet, Ken. He lost his helmet somewhere along the course. Well, I've got to say that Alan Gaines is a winner tonight.
He is a winner tonight. That's his first ride for keeps in that thing, and he did real well.
Maybe his last.
No, I don't think. He'll be back. He'll be back.
There's your winner.
Fast Tracks, Bob Chandler, the winner of round 2 of the Monster Tanks. Bob's had this truck, what, about 6-7 months now?
There's the helmet. He actually lost his helmet. He was talking about how hard he was getting bounced around inside of the cab area of the Orange Blossom Special. Well, you see Barry walking back over to Allen with his helmet in his hand.
Mike, we'll take a look at it again. And Bob Chandler's had this truck, what, about 6-7 months now?
Oh, he has, and it just really, it goes faster and is quicker every time. Now watch Allen. Allen, first time around, he takes a hard shake forward.
There's the helmet.
There's the helmet laying off behind him. That was on the first set of cars when he lost the helmet. And he has a problem seeing in that thing. He really can't see, but look at Bob. Bob is just, and he's smoking a little bit out of the top of the fast track. Bob makes a problem there, has a little bit of a boo-boo on a turn. Allen's still not letting up, though. Allen Gaines, that not type of person. And here's Bob. Floats off of it, lands super soft. Torsion bar suspension on this thing. It's so much easier to ride in and easier to drive.
Allen Gaines for his final pass, and again, you can see him getting jostled around inside that cab.
Well, Ken, I think we're going to look at shoulder harness in this one next week.
Allen's going to get strapped down, I think, for the next run. But Fast Track's the winner in round 1. Well, here it is, the race-off between Track Attack and Fast Tracks, and I guess this is a Detroit dream. This is Chevy against Ford.
This is two men's dream. Both of these guys are tough. The Track Attack, it's quite a bit lighter. It runs 1 blower motor. It's Chevrolet. The Fast Tracks, it runs 2 Ford motors, but it's heavier. So, you know, they're going to be real equal.
About a 3,000-pound difference.
And these are probably the only two that I know of with this type of chassis underneath it. This M55 Retriever. And you notice they're not going to take the beating inside of it. This is all torsion bar suspension. It's all World War II, or Korean War. The other 2 tanks we saw earlier were they were World War II. These are Korean, so these are later models. There we go. Watch out. Who's it gonna be? You can't see out of the front of Ernie's. You cannot see out of the front of Ernie's. He's all over it. He's up in the air. He cannot see where he's going. The windshield is frosted over. He's made the turn. He's got to go up and over. Who's it gonna be? Chandler's in the lead. Chandler has got a little bit of a lead right now, but they make the turn, and the turn is going to be tight. It's not over with. Chandler's in trouble. Ernie Brucken makes a quick turn. It's going to be Brucken. Brucken's in the tank attack. He does it. Ernie Brucken takes the win with the tank attack.
Oh, man. And Mike, as you said, as this race began, Brookins had a problem with his windshield frosting over.
The windshield frosted over completely when he hit the first set of cars, and the first set of cars, Ken, are absolutely destroyed. There is Ernie.
So now Ernie Brookins will go to the finals, and Bob Chandler, who could not beat Brookins in the Battle of the Monster Tanks, will now let his honor be upheld by Bigfoot.
Well, Ernie's going to have to check things over. He's got 3 back-to-back runs on the motor. It's got to be getting hot. It's got to be getting a lot of heat in it.
There is a look at Bob Chandler, who is not a happy man at this point. You can imagine. I wonder what happened and where he had his problem.
See Allen over on the other side. There's got to be something wrong. When he went to turn it, it didn't want to turn on him. It didn't want to do what it normally does. So I would have to venture to say there's some kind of a problem maybe in the braking system in the driveline.
Well, there you see Track Attack, and it will not answer the bell for the race against Bigfoot. Mike, I guess Ernie Brookins just couldn't get it to go.
I don't know what happened to it. And no, it's got to be a sad day for Ernie, because he came from North Dakota down here to do just what he did, and that was race the Bigfoot.
So here's what happens. Fast Tracks that was beaten in the last heat, kind of like the Miss America pageant when the Miss America cannot hold her title, the first runner-up comes on. Well, here comes Fast Tracks against Bigfoot, all in the family for Mr. Kramer and Mr. Chandler. They will go back-to-back here to see what happens. We almost had this a couple of months ago in Pontiac. It never came off. Fast Tracks overheated, but now we get to see the showdown.
Well, the thing about it is, it may be all in the family, but we're going to prove something here tonight.
They won't be family for the couple of minutes it takes them to go around.
There's no way. Bob has told Jim, no telling how many times, how great that track vehicle is, and Jim has just kind of went along with it.
Yeah, right.
We're fixing to find out. This is a showdown. Uh-oh, Chandler went to sleep. Let's see what happens. Jim Kramer never sleeps on the line. Bob Chandler knows just a minute, but Chandler has brought it back. Chandler's brought it back. Bob Chandler has gone to the lead. I believe he's in the lead a little bit. Let's see who takes it. No, it is the Bigfoot truck in the lead right this minute. The Bigfoot truck. Jim Kramer has got the lead. It's going to be so close. Kramer is in a little trouble. Fast Tracks is making it.
Oh, man.
It is.
Oh, man.
I think it's going to go to Fast Tracks, but listen, we've got to get some word from the United States Hot Rod Association officials. I was watching Fast Tracks, thought that Bob won it. Jim Kramer had a lead here again. He had problems making that turn. Ken, that may be slick over there. That's the same place that Bob got into problems.
Bigfoot the winner.
Bigfoot is the winner. Bigfoot takes the win. It's the rubber tires over the track.
Ford won.
Ford
You
won.
better believe Ford won, and so did Bob Chandler. Don't kid yourself. Bigfoot the winner, and there it is. And there's the handshake. You bet it's all in the family. Mike, a great evening, just a superb evening, and again, I'll tell you, these tanks, the more you see them, the more innovations they are, they just keep building and building. Well, Mike, I'll tell you what, it was off the line in a hurry for Bigfoot.
Well, Jim Kramer had a lead right off the starting line. Bob, I don't know what happened to Bob. He missed just a little bit at the start there. Makes a good turn, and I think he makes the time up. Kramer makes a real close turn. He is leaning on the big Ford motor as they go up over the nose. Now watch him cross in the center. It's given to Jim a little bit, but now here's where Jim Kramer gets into some problems making a turn. He tries to make it tight. The back end won't slide. It's hooked up real short. He gets up on the side of it. Then he has to straighten out and go over the cars, and that's probably where they're going to call it a win as the tires touch the ground first. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If Bob Chandler had left the starting line at the drop of the flag, we might have another blue winner tonight.
There's the winner, Bigfoot, the winner in the battle of the trucks against the tanks.
And Shelley, this particular course is going to be mighty interesting. A lot of cars to crush, a lot of turns to make, and indeed they're going to have to actually park these things while jumping on the last set of cars.
I don't see how they could possibly do that. For some people, they're experienced pros here, but for the example, one of the drivers here, it's his first time he's ever driven the car tonight.
That's true. We have some brand new pieces of equipment on the U.S. Hot Rod Association trail to show you. And like I said, the very last set of cars these machines hit in this side-by-side competition, they must get airborne, land on top of the cars, and they cannot touch the ground or they will be disqualified. The first pair in this round-robin elimination style program will feature the near lane aimed one way as opposed to his opponent. It's Jim Reese, one of his first times in the U.S. Hot Rod Association trail with the Chevrolet, sponsored by AM/PM Mini Marts, the AM/PM Boss, a supercharged big block Chevrolet power plant in that 18,000-pound piece of Chevrolet. His opponent, however, in the bright red Jeep that you see down there on the starting line, is longtime U.S. Hot Rod Association standout Jeff Bader. Now, Bader's Jeep, called Hot Stuff, has one of the shortest wheelbases of any monster truck in the world. Although it's not real heavy, only about 12,000 pounds, it can get airborne with the best of them, Shelley.
Well, he's really into this. I talked to them yesterday, he and Debbie, his co-driver, and they said that they're getting another truck ready, and hopefully we'll be seeing that pretty soon.
May indeed see a new Hot Stuff Jeep. They leave the starting line on the signal from the starter, and now they hit the first set of cars. Bader sideways on his cars. The AM/PM Boss Chevrolet doing a fine job of landing. Now they will head to the other end end of Anaheim Stadium as they had prepared to crisscross, hitting 2 different sets of crushed cars. Baitner over the cars first. He gets airborne. The AM/PM Boss Chevrolet now lands, and now they head for those final cars in which they must hit and land squarely on top of. Here's Baitner in the Yakima, Washington Jeep. He's airborne. He lands. And he's in good shape, but no, the tires are on the ground for the little Jeep from Yakima, Washington. The AM/PM Boss will take the win. He lands squarely on the cars. Jim Reese, a great job in the Chevy. Poor Jeff Baitner is sitting there with the far side wheels on the ground.
2 wheels off, 2 wheels on, not good enough for a win.
You know, originally I thought he had landed nicely on the cars, but as you can see, the right side tires are on the ground. I'll tell you, our event director, Ken Donay, set this unique format up. The drivers thought he was crazy. Nobody ever had to do anything like this before. It looks like the AM/PM Boss must have broken something pretty seriously in the front end. You can see the front end cocked. And looking at his replay of the very first hit that Reese made, he was plenty airborne, landing in the middle of the cars. And then a rather unusual little bounce at the end. The front end comes up, and then all 4 wheels are actually off the ground as he makes the turn for that crisscross jump. Baitner's first hit was nice. He landed square in the center of the cars, but it was his last jump where he was supposed to land on the cars that really got out of control. Way up in the air. You can see the right front and then the right rear coming down on the ground, but he'll advance anyway. Well, Shelley, with Jeff Baitner and the Hot Stuff Chief back in the program because of that problem with Jim Reese's Chevrolet, this is a match the crowd really wants to see.
And they were on their feet the minute Bigfoot hit the stadium.
This is Jim Kramer, the #1 driver on Bob Chandler's Bigfoot 4-wheel drive truck team. One of the last times we'll see one of the heavyweight original Bigfoot Fords coming out because, as you well know, Shelley, Jim Kramer and Bob Chandler have been working on a lightweight race truck that they say will be the racer to end them all.
Boy, they still give people a run for their money in this one, too.
That's true. Kramer is by far one of the best 4-wheel drive drivers we've ever seen. He's also one of the wildest, not afraid to take risks. In fact, one of the new drivers we'll be seeing later on in this competition reminded us an awful lot of a young Jim Kramer. So Jeff Baitner, the Hot Stuff Jeep in the near lane. Of course, the dreaded Bigfoot Ford, 15,000 pounds of the toughest monster truck ever built, will go at it here in the 4-wheel drive portion of this battle of monsters. Remember, we still have the tanks to determine their champion. On the green flag, they move up. Kramer, unbelievable landing. Same thing for Jeff Baitner. These guys are going for blood, but a lot of smoke coming out of Bigfoot. Jim Kramer may have problems as he hits the second set of cars. The truck almost enveloped in a fog bank. Now Baitner in the Hot Stuff Jeep tries to make it around to the last set of cars before Kramer. Kramer can't steer. Bigfoot and Jeff Baitner drops a tire on the ground for a second, but he lands on the cars. We have just seen one of the biggest upsets imaginable as Jim Kramer jumps out of Bigfoot. Listen to the crowd cheering Jeff Baitner for the victory. Jim Kramer still out of Bigfoot, checking things out, trying to figure out why the steering went away. You can see the puddle of fluid underneath the front end that indicates the hydraulic steering system has definitely gone south for the winner. Damage occurred on the very first hit in one of the most incredible leaps we've seen a Bigfoot take. The landing so rough, it was bound to create mechanical problems. He may have lost his beard this year, but he hasn't lost any of the nerve that got him a spot in the #1 position in Bob Chandler's Bigfoot team. And Jim, that was one of the first times we've seen the old standard Bigfoot 4-wheel drive break anything.
It was kind of unfortunate. It took a very hard hit off that jump, and the right tire came up and knocked the bottom of the power steering filter off, and of course I lost the steering and had to quit.
Well, the machine was way out of shape in the middle of the air. In fact, if we can take a look at the footage, you can get a chance to see exactly what was going on in the machine.
All right, I had a real good start. I knew I had a long track. I knew I had a long way to go. I had about 130 more feet to run, and Jeff's running hard, so I was kind of putting it to her. We got sideways. Came down, noticed the front end, watched this right tire. Got back up in the firewall, actually came up halfway up the firewall, hit the power steering filter. I'm surprised the tire's still on. Anyway, the truck came down, landed good, felt good, made the corner, hit the next set of cars, and that's when she went away on me.
Well, the amount of smoke coming out from underneath it, it gave you a pretty good indication of what was wrong. Did you know it was the power steering pump immediately, though?
It could have been some engine oil with the smoke or the steering. No, the steering was functioning fine until it pumped all the oil out of the reservoir. Then, of course, I lost the steering.
Well, of course, your boss man, Bob Chandler, is still in the program, but we wish you the best of luck with your next attempt.
Well, I'll probably raise my power steering unit up probably about another foot. Maybe that won't happen again. I'll stay in the race.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
In the near lane, it's the California Gold Chevrolet of Phil Thompson behind the wheel. Arlen Smith, his co-owner, will take on the incredible new Track Attack from North Dakota, believe it or not. This is the first tank truck built like Bob Chandler's new Bigfoot Fast Tracks with a full suspension. And I gotta tell you, one of the wildest we've ever seen. Airborne in the new narrow-body Chevrolet Track Attack as the California Gold machine has problems over the first set of cars. Moving up to the second set of crush cars, the Track Attack again airborne, but hard landing with a lot of smoke out of the cockpit. May spell problems for the new North Dakota tank. Whizzing around with the cockpit completely socked in with smoke. The Track Attack lands on the last set of cars as the California Gold Chevy of Phil Thompson breaks over the second set of crush cars. But look at the smoke billowing from the interior of the Track Attack. There you see the broken California Gold Chevrolet. Look at the smoke pouring out of the cockpit of the North Dakota snowmobile.
Safety crew is racing over there just to make sure everything's all right.
Tremendous amount of smoke for the North Dakota Track Attack fully suspended tank with Chevrolet power. It'll be interesting to see if he can make it back around for the tank battle final, as indeed his win will put him in that particular position. Well, Ernie Brookins hits the second set of cars, but the smoke was already billowing out of the windows in midair. So that meant the problem that occurred happened long before he actually made that hit. What's really amazing is that Brookins could see where he was going to land on that last set of cars. The cockpit completely full of smoke. He makes the last hit, gets plenty of air, and manages to hit the brakes to land squarely on the last set. Shelley Herman, this looks like the battle that the crowd has waited to see. Bob Chandler's Bigfoot Fast Tracks fully suspended tank against this incredible piece of equipment.
Well, Bob himself is actually driving the Bigfoot Fast Tracks, and in Orange Blossom Express, we have a quite unusual design here. It's so unusual, in fact, that when they were testing it out a little earlier, they had to actually let some of the air out of the seat so that the driver wouldn't hit his head.
That's right. This is Alan Gaines, the man behind the long line of Orange Blossom Special pulling machines. One of the first drivers ever to debut a two-wheel drive, wheel-standing exhibition puller on the U.S. Auto Association Trail way back in the mid-1970s. He, of course, advanced to the machine that we saw earlier today, the Midnight Express, twin-engine 1925 Ford puller. But this new locomotive is beyond belief. An actual M4 Army personnel carrier tank chassis with a real live locomotive body. That is not a scaled down model. It is an honest to goodness train body.
Well, I think he's going to do more than chug along today. He's really got his work cut out for him.
Big block Chevrolet motivation in the train, the Orange Blossom Special. But Bob Chandler's incredible Bigfoot Fast Tracks, well known as the fastest tank ever built. And indeed, Chandler needs to win this one to go to the final round. Ready for the green flag to signal the start of this incredible side-by-side tank battle. The world's wildest locomotive against the world's fastest tank, with Bob Chandler himself doing the driving of the low-riding Ford twin-engine machine from St. Louis, Missouri.
And once again, remember, they have to land on top of the cars. No part of the track can be off of the cars or they'll be disqualified.
The smoke pouring from the smokestack of the Orange Blossom Special leaves the stack as they head for the first set of cars. Bob Chandler airborne as always in the incredible lowrider Ford tank. Now it looks like Alan Gaines is still having problems being thrown around in the cockpit of the Orange Blossom Special. Chandler hits the second set of crush cars. He's almost halfway around the track before Gaines ever makes it to the second set of cars. And Chandler will bring it around to the finish line as Gaines hits the second set of machines. Chandler lands on top of the final set of cars, and Alan Gaines gets thrown around the cockpit of this incredible train. But there is the winner. Bob Chandler lifts the Ford van body up above the M4 Armored Personnel Carrier chassis and takes the win in this first round of tank action.
And I think the Orange Blossom Express was having some steering trouble there. He had a real hard time negotiating some of those curves earlier.
Well, this is the very first time ever for Alan Gaines of this train. You can hear the actual real-life brass steam whistle going off next to the smokestack there. But as Alan Gaines makes his first ever passes in a tank, let's face it, these things don't have steering wheels. They have two steering handles that are like driving a bulldozer or a tank. And that takes a little bit of getting used to. There's no question about that.
As Bob Chandler tips his hat to the crowd. They're most appreciative.
Chandler, as always, coming through straight and true for a big, big win here. As we look at the slow motion replay of Bob Chandler's first hit on the first set of crush cars, watch the suspension on this tank work, especially when it comes down with Chandler inside. It's actually almost a soft ride, Shelley.
If that's a soft ride, I wouldn't want to be in a tough one.
Right, here's the last jump as Bob Chandler brings it around for the finish to land on top of those cars. Straight and true, steering it like a pro. He brings it up and down for the grand finale. We're back at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California for the final run in the Battle of the Monster Trucks here at the U.S. Hobbit Association Grand Slam of Motorsports. I'm Brett Kepner, and along with Shelley Herman, this is going to be a crowd pleaser. Bob Chandler in the far lane in the Bigfoot Fast Tracks lowrider Ford van tank against his first final of the year. Young Jeff Boehner in the shore wheelbase wild ambulance four-wheeler called Hot Stuff, the big red Jeep, Shelley.
He might be a young guy, but the two of them both have a lot of experience, but it's two different machines. Two different conditions on the field. Let's see how it goes.
Bob Chandler signals that he's ready, and the green flag comes up. They move to the first set of crush cars. The winner takes the overall championship. Boehner almost goes over the Hot Stuff Jeep. He gets back in the throttle. Incredibly enough, he's going to make a race of it. Bob Chandler clears the second set of crush cars as Boehner keeps driving after that incredible landing. Another wild ride for the Hot Stuff, but Bob Chandler brings it around the turn to land on the final set of cars and take the victory. Jeff Boehner hits his final set of cars. But what a driving job for the youngster from Washington. Look at that kid.
Oh, it really knocked him around. I thought that thing was going to tip.
Unbelievable driving job. The crowd giving him a standing ovation for the driving he did against Bob Chandler in the Bigfoot Fast Tracks tank. Well, what can you say about this man? From St. Louis, Missouri, the originator of the monster truck phenomenon, takes yet another U.S. Hobbit Association National Championship event victory here at the Grand Slam of Motorsports. Still an incredible driver, Shelley. Bob Chandler moving in on his very first hit here in this final championship round of Monster Tank versus Monster Truck. Look at this thing sideways in the air. Chandler thrown almost into the windshield. Just about as rough a ride as Jeff Boehner was going through on the other side of the track. Watch this incredible job of keeping this short wheelbase squirrely monster Jeep upright. Boehner airborne lands and then nosedives over to the side. Boehner still steering the machine, nails the throttle, and that's what saved him from disaster. He hits the crush cars that were bordering the side of the track, regains his bearings, and then gets back in the throttle to give Bob Chandler a run for the money. Absolutely incredible effort for the Yakima, Washington youngster. Well, once again, the brand new Bigfoot Fast Tracks of Bob Chandler has proven to be one of the most incredible machines anybody's ever built. And Bob, that machine still performs flawlessly.
It worked good today. I had a little problem yesterday, but today everything seems to work fine.
The machine still, with that suspension underneath the track, seems to give it an edge over every other vehicle.
Yeah, the torsion bars really help it. The guy can get on it hard. Today was probably the hardest I've ever landed with this thing, but it's still not that bad.
Well, you took a hard-fought victory over this man, Jeff Boehner. And Jeff, you took one of the wildest rides we've seen in a good long time trying to beat this man.
Yeah, well, we went all out, and that was probably the closest I've ever come to tipping over.
Unbelievable. Bob, you yourself were pretty crossed up in the air on that final run. Let's take a look at the footage here, and you can tell us what you were going through.
Okay. This, I knew I had a hard run here with Jeff. He'd run all day long real hard, so I really give it a lot of throttle. And I came down on the left corner. It really hit hard. I thought I might have broke something. You
like your neck?
My neck. Yeah, I'll probably learn that tomorrow. I'll be sore. But I was worried about Jeff coming around. I had a long track this time, so.
Well, in the other lane, Jeff, you were going through this incredible ride.
Yeah, I think it launched a little bit sideways there, and I had so much forward momentum. I was just trying to get the wheel speed back up to pull me out of what I knew was going to happen when we landed. And that was just borderline of going over. It was real close.
Well, right there you hit the throttle, and that's pretty much what saved it from going over.
Yeah, then I ended up running over some cars that weren't even in the course, but the motor was still going. I thought I might have a chance, so we stayed in it the rest of the race.
You made it an incredibly close battle, and both of you gentlemen deserve to be commended on your tremendous championship spirit. Bob, best of luck throughout this season. I know it's going to be tough with a lot of new vehicles coming up, but you did it for the Ford fans again.
Thank you very much.
And this guy, I think we're going to be hearing an awful lot about. Jeff, it's been a long time since you've been in a national event final round against this guy, but you have a brand new machine coming out, right?
Yes, should have it going in the next week or two and get the bugs worked out of it, and we'll be driving two of them. My girlfriend will be driving the other one, and I hope we stay busy.
So a male and female team should be pretty interesting. And indeed, Jeff Maynard and, of course, Bob Chandler will be back at more U.S. Auto Association events. Right now, we'll be back at Anaheim Stadium.
Before we can race these monster trucks, we've got to make it fair for everybody. And so what we're going to do is crush some of these cars down with kind of an unusual piece of equipment.
Well, this is one of the first times we've ever done this at a U.S. Auto Association event. What exactly is the objective here?
Well, the object, of course, is to make sure that the track surface, the racing surface, which includes the cars, is level and equal for all. This is Alan Gaines of Georgetown, Kentucky, and this is called the Orange Blossom Express.
Seems like the fans are definitely into that machine, but we're ready to go into monster truck qualifying, racing against the clock for final starting positions here at the Anaheim Stadium.
It's going to be barefoot, driven by Fred Schaefer of Pontoon, Illinois.
He'll be up against Larry Turner, the Ohio driver of the Hercules Ford Ranger. And certainly a Ford versus Chevy battle like this is a great way to start, but everybody loves barefoot, Jerry.
They sure do. And it's going to be a great one. Let's watch them now as both drivers get all ready to go, waiting for the flagman to raise that green flag.
It's an interesting course. They'll be driving in opposite directions, then crossing a set of cars to determine a winner. Unbelievable hit by Schaefer.
Look at the height of some of these machines. All right, Turner gets over real good. Barefoot, Fred Schaefer heads for the last of the cars. Up, and over!
You'll easily win that much up. Here comes Larry Turner, about 6 or 7 truck lengths behind. The elapsed time for Freddie Schaefer has got to put him in a real good position. Look at the trucks we're up against here. 14.23 seconds for Barefoot. He's still got to try and stay out in front of Bigfoot, Taurus, all the killers. 17.14 seconds for Larry Turner. Don't think he'll be overly thrilled with that, Jim.
No, not at all. All right, next pair coming up. It's going to be Four Wheel Crazy, driven by Rob Morris.
A brand new truck from Fort Worth, Texas. He'll be up against Gary Schott, the Californian, in the Exterminator Chevy. A lot of people seem to think the blue Ford may be a real strong runner. You can see Rob Morris hits the first set of cars. He's got the power, Jared.
He certainly does, and he's doing a great job of handling that truck.
Schott looks like he may be experiencing problems with the Exterminator, but man, Rob Morris, with the debut of that truck, has got to be dropping some jaws in the monster truck driver's pit area. The Exterminator Schott finally makes it over the cars, but this new Ford Ranger looks tough, Jared.
That's right. He's not taking any chances. He put the pedal down and flew right over those cars.
13.12 seconds as opposed to the Exterminator 17.11. That will put Rob Morris's brand new four-wheel crazy Ford from Texas in the #1 spot.
All right, next two trucks coming up, getting ready to go. It's going to be the Predator, driven by Alan Pizzo.
Tell you what, for a youngster out of Michigan, he is tough. And he'll be up against longtime California competitor Tom Feeney. The Iron Butterfly Ford van weighs an honest 24,000 pounds. The heaviest machine here.
Definitely is heavy. All right, here we go.
It looks like Payzo may have had some problems getting off the starting line. That supercharged Chevrolet is normally a lot quicker than that. And that means Speedy is going to make a race out of this.
Well, it's anybody's race right now. They're headed both for the final set of cars. Oh, and it looks like the Iron Butterfly has some problems.
Is that incredible problems for Payzo? And at 18.71 seconds as the engine apparently got wounded. Look at this finish. The Iron Butterfly breaks. Payzo gets the win by no less than 4 feet. Unbelievable.
Well, the Iron Butterfly stalls right on that second set of cars, but the clock's still running.
Payzo's trying to control the incredible Chevrolet, but here's the killer, Jerry.
Oh, it sure is. It's Bigfoot, driven by Andy Brass, and this is the new Bigfoot Racer.
The first time out for the blue Ford Racer, Jack Wilman in Taurus, one of the toughest new trucks of the 1990 season, leaves the line.
Taurus had some problems a little earlier in qualifying. He lost the front end.
I'll tell you, he's giving Andy Brass a run for his money. The new lightweight Ford trying to beat 13.14 seconds. That'd give him the #1 spot.
Oh, and look at Jack Woolman!
Unbelievable! 13.06 seconds for Taurus. Look at the launch of the last set of cars by Andy Brass. He runs 13.31. That puts Taurus, the Chevrolet, in the #1 spot.
All right, here comes the AM/PM Boss, driven by Meredith Dalton.
Right, Seth Dalton himself, one of the West Coast's best. He'll be up against Steve Elms, the Skull Crusher, a brand new Ford product out for its first weekend of racing.
Well, this young lady, she's not afraid of these monster trucks. She knows how to drive them. Let's watch her now. Waiting for the green flag. Here we go.
Beautiful lead by the lady of the AM/PM Boss. The Skull Crusher coming down hard as well. This is going to be a race.
It's not over yet. Got about a half a track yet to go. Let's watch her now, the last set of cars.
Tell you what, she was right there with the new Crusher. Tremendous job by the AM/PM boss, sponsored by the AM/PM mini stores out on the West Seaboard. Here's the last jump for the Crusher in 15.21 seconds. That'll put him right squarely in the middle of the field for Helms.
And Meredith Dalton with an 18.05 on the AM/PM boss.
Now, I'll tell you, that may be 5 or 6 seconds slower than some of the other trucks, but that'll be right in the middle of this field.
It sure will. All right, here comes the AM/PM rocket now with Dale Boucher.
Tell you, this kid is young and he is good. Look at the air. He gets wild landing.
He hangs onto it, keeps it under control, heads down for the next set of cars, comes around that curve, up, and over.
Man, another wild landing. That guy is not afraid to mess with the throttle. He has definitely shown that he has got the guts to be one of the best in this business. 14.58 seconds. Look at this landing. Tell you what, applying the throttle with the front end of the air takes guts. Simple as that.
And it's going to be the number 10 qualifier going against the number 5 qualifier.
That's right. The Ohio driver, Larry Turo, with the Hercules Ford Ranger, qualified pretty far down the field, takes on the young killer, Dale Boucher, the Californian, the AM/PM Rocket.
All right, here we go. Green flag goes up. They're on their way.
Pretty even start. And this kid is something else. Larry Turo doing his best to keep up with him, but he has problems coming down off the cars. That's going to hurt him a bunch, Gary.
Oh, he's got his hands full. Here comes the Rocket.
Not even close. Boucher backs out of the throttle to save the equipment. Actually, Turo was making a pretty good run of it there at the last few feet, but it was nowhere near enough. We just received word, Jerry, that Carr, the number 1 qualifier, apparently will not be able to return for elimination.
All right, coming up next, it's going to be the Skull Crusher, and he'll be going against the Iron Butterfly.
I'll tell you what, the Iron Butterfly machine of Tom Feeney has actually been fairly impressive here. He qualified the number 11 spot. Steve Helms leaves the line first, though. Helms and the Skull Crusher did a heck of a job in qualifying, does a good job on that jump.
The Butterfly is just so heavy.
I'll tell you what, this guy's really making this a race.
Look at this. Look at this. Hold it. Hold it. He might do it.
That is by far one of the closest possible races. Listen to the crowd. The 22,000-pound band makes it literally a matter of inches at the finish line. Look at this battle. And the Skull Crusher wins at 18.41 seconds, a losing 18.61 seconds for the band.
Oh, here comes Bigfoot, driven by Andy Brass. Now, this is a new Bigfoot racer.
That's right, the lightest Bigfoot ever at about 10,200 pounds, and he'll be taking on the lady.
Meredith Dalton in the AM/PM boss.
She was pretty impressive, but the Bigfoot team ended up qualifying number 3 in this field.
Whoa!
Unbelievable air by both machines. Nobody's like putting it here.
Meredith's not afraid of this hot rod. Look at this, look at this.
Tell you what, she made a heck of a race of it. Andy Brass gets there first, but Meredith Dalton wasn't too far behind at all. Excellent job by the lady in the AM/PM boss.
All right, coming up next, it's going to be the Predator, driven by Alan Azo.
We saw that Michigan driver had a lot of engine problems when he was racing and qualifying, but this is one guy that could win it all.
You better believe it. Fred Schaefer from Pontoon, Illinois, in barefoot.
A lot of people say Freddie Schaefer builds the toughest motors in the sport. Look at the jump! Unbelievable air. Alan Azo doing everything he can, but he's not going to be able to make this up.
Oh, hang on, here we go.
I'll tell you what, Pezo with the engine problems again actually made a battle out of that. But Freddie Schaefer may be close to beating the 12.59 second run we just saw by Bigfoot. The supercharged Chevrolet out of Illinois. Freddie Schaefer always means business. Watch this jump. Unbelievable, perfect form. Watch the landing, watch the front tires compress, and a huge bounce. I'll tell you, at a lap time in mid-14s, he's going to be tough. And here's a kid that shocked us by qualifying number 2.
Sure is. Four-wheel crazy, driven by Rob Morris.
The new youngster from Fort Worth, Texas, with a brand new Ford Ranger could be one of the big underdogs in this event. He'll be up against Gary Schott, the number 7 qualifier with the Exterminator Chevy, and he did a great job in qualifying. Who do you pick here, Jerry?
Well, this could be a close race.
I tell you, the kid in the Ford has been strong.
Rob Morris is, let's watch it now. Here we go. Up, and over.
Good launch by both machines. Definitely this will be a race.
Oh, that four-wheel crazy. I think we better keep an eye on this one.
Going to be, problems for Schott making the last turn, and that will hand it to Rob Morris, the new kid with the new Ford. Obviously, Jim Schott was going to make that a race, Jerry.
Yeah, he certainly would have. He eases it over.
But in this round, we also have that classic rivalry.
That's right. Ford against Chevrolet. All right, Dale Boucher, the AM/PM Rocket. Here we go.
It looked like we have some problems in the other lane. Unbelievable landing in the meantime for Boucher. Now Helms has the crusher going, and this was a free ride.
All right, Boucher coming on, and he's going to ease it over for the win.
That's the second time now that Dale Boucher has been able to get out of the throttle. His starting line reactions are unbelievable, but also with Helms having problems, he didn't have to worry too much. Look at the landing on this hit. His lap time of 15.47 seconds for the run. Watch this.
That could have cost him there, but he good job of driving, and he hangs on to it. Oh, here comes Bigfoot. Andy Brass.
And this is the battle we've been waiting for. Bigfoot versus Barefoot.
Ford against Chevrolet.
You're looking at one of the lightest, best prepared Fords in history against one of the drivers who will not say die. Freddie Schaefer will do anything to beat Bigfoot. There is no love lost between these two teams, Jerry.
The crowd coming to their feet on this one. They know this is going to be one of the best races of the afternoon.
The second round of Monster Truck Racing. Winners go into the semifinal round.
Here we go. Fred Schaefer up, and over.
Look at Bigfoot, the same stance. Now it's a battle of the finish line.
It's going to be close.
Bigfoot takes it. Freddie Schaefer has problems around the last turn. Listen to the crowd.
Andy Brass put it down and flew over that last set of cars. Look at this.
This new fully suspended truck has one of the trickiest suspensions in the business. The elapsed time, again, the quickest of the round, 12.87 seconds.
Cleared the cars completely. Never even touched that last set of cars.
Unbelievable.
All right, here comes the Predator with Alan Pezo.
Isn't it incredible? This kid is still in. Engine problems in every round and qualifying. And here's the rookie that is dominating in the other half of the ladder. Rob Morris, the Texan with the four-wheel Crazy Ranger. Tell you what, though, you know, Alan Pezo is not going to shut off early here either.
Rob Morris, definitely the one to keep an eye on.
Been amazing in his debut.
All right, here we go. Up over the first set of cars.
Tell you, it's about an even battle at that point, but still the engine problems for Pezo coming back to haunt him.
He must be losing some oil. Looks like oil hitting those headers. And four-wheel Crazy Rob Morris takes the win.
Boy, Pezo didn't give up again, though. He drove her full throttle, even though it looked like the Ford was going to get there first.
All right, here we go. It's going to be Bigfoot with Andy Brass. And he's going to be going against Dale Boucher and the AMPM Rocket.
We've seen Andy Brass run the quickest runs of the day, but here's the kid that just will not say die. Dale Boucher has shown guts. Tremendous launch for Andy Brass. Beautiful landing, a little bit sideways in Boucher for the first time they've had problems.
Could be close. Andy Brass puts the pedal down.
And still cleared every one of those cars. Look at Boucher, almost a nosedive as he takes a wild dance. Andy Brass for the second time in a row clears every one of the cars in the finish line. Look at the starting line launch. Look at the elapsed time.
11.22.
Man, that's 2 seconds quicker than anybody has gone today. A sideways landing to boot. And then look at this landing here.
He completely clears the cars. Brings it down very hard, though.
That new racer is awesome. So Bigfoot goes to the final. Now, it's the young rookie, Rob Morris, the Fort Worth, Texas driver, the four-wheel Crazy Ford. And look who's back in the show. Alan Pezo, still with engine problems, got into the semis as the quickest loser from the previous round.
All right, here we go. Both machines on their way. Up, and over for Alan Pezo.
And indeed, the Rob Morris-driven Ford. Still the engine problems for Pezo. The Rob Morris-driven Ford looks like he's got it. But look at Alan Pezo. You gotta give this kid credit. He has survived problem after problem after problem with a wild bout to come into a semi-final round finish. That kid has done a great job.
Four-wheel Crazy doing a great job with 13.42 seconds.
That's for sure. That's the quickest run he's made all day long. He's ready for Bigfoot in the final. That means it will be Bigfoot, the killer, against a kid with a brand new truck and a brand new ride at his first event ever. As Alan Pezo bounces off into the sunset, we look like we may have problems. There's Bob Chandler in the black hat, the owner of Bigfoot.
You notice he came down very hard on that left front wheel, and that's the area that they're looking at.
I tell you, Andy Brass, the driver in the uniform, saying, I can't make this run. Bob Chandler shaking his head and walking away. Obviously, the man who created Bigfoot is upset, and we've gotten word that they're bringing Dale Boucher in the AMPM Rocket Chevy back into this final round as the quickest loser from the semis. He'll take on the new rookie king.
That's right. The brake rule is in effect, so that means that Dale Boucher gets back into the program because of Bigfoot braking.
What a disappointment for Bob Chandler. The machine was running 2 seconds quicker than its nearest opponent. Rob Morris now has to look at a possibility of a first-ever national event title. So does this kid. Neither one of these guys has ever won a U.S. Hoffman Association Camel National event.
Well, the crowd is on their feet. This is the final in the monster truck division, and this ought to be a good one.
Ford and Chevrolet, 2 rookies looking at their first bit of national fame.
Here we go. Dale Boucher up and over, brings it down hard.
So does the Rob Morris-driven 4-wheel crazy, and this is going to be a battle. Look at this.
Around and around the last time, and it's the 4-wheel crazy.
Unbelievable. Look at the fist out the window. The crowd is stunned. In his first event ever with a brand new truck, Rob Morris reaches the national limelight with a win at one of the biggest U.S. Hoffman Association Camel events in the country.
Oh, is he happy? He is thrilled to death on this one. Takes off his neck brace, and the crowd is going wild.
The crowd is behind him all the way.
I'm here with Jim Kramer, driver of Bigfoot 9, and Jim, I understand you brought this truck out here with a fresh coat of paint on it.
Well, the fresh coat of paint comes in on the underside. We made a lot of changes in this truck. We built this truck to be a very lightweight truck, but now we have designated weights we have to comply with, which is 10,000 pounds, so we went and put heavier axles in and actually weighted the truck back down to make it meet that rule. Well, this is a very challenging course. I've never seen a course like it. It's like a double Z, and it's a lot of turning, braking, acceleration. It's going to be very challenging to do, plus the fact that a lot of changes have been made in the truck. I've got to do some adaptation to meet the needs to be able to run this track, and I think I'm ready. I hope the truck's ready.
The track itself is ready as well. One of the more bizarre courses ever in monster truck racing, a zigzag Z course that could present more than its fair share of problems for unfamiliar drivers. Jim Reese from right here in the Los Angeles area will kick off qualifying with the Ecology Junkyard Eliminator. What a hit! The first launch of the night is a sky-high ride. Now making the first turn to the right, a short straightaway, then a hard left. And Reese handles it beautifully as he sets himself up for the final straight. The finish line located at the end of the crushed cars on the final straight. There's the finish line poles, and Reese sets the pace in qualifying. The first run, 21.17 seconds for the Eliminator. Meanwhile, Robert Parker, the AM/PM Boss Ford, leaves the line. Parker handling the first turn with a little bit of apprehension, and understandably, this is a unique course. Most drivers have never, ever competed on a course like this. Whoa, rear wheel up in the air as Parker tries to cut the last turn a little bit sharp. But straightens it out for a good run. The elapsed time for the California Ford of Seth Dalton and Robert Parker, 23.02 seconds. That'll be good for the number 2 spot. On the starting line this time around, Bobby Z at the wheel of the Skull Crusher Ford. Big time problems as Z actually gets caught up in some fender panels on the junk cars. And now takes a conservative approach to the very first turn. Getting on the throttle a little harder now and going very, very tight into the last turn. Lining himself up for the finish line. Z crosses the finish with a time to beat of 21.17 seconds. His elapsed time, 26.09 seconds. Qualifying is underway. We still have 3 more machines to go, including this machine. The legendary Bigfoot with the team #1 driver Jim Kramer at the wheel. The mark to beat 21.17 seconds. The Ford taking the starting line more aggressively than anybody has so far and making the turn harder than any truck yet. Kramer stumbles a little bit on the last turn, but now gets hard on the throttle of the supercharged Ford. The mark to beat, 21.17 seconds. Kramer and Bigfoot runs 21.13 seconds. By 0.04 of a second, the Ford takes over the pole from Jim Reese, but the battle isn't over yet. Here's Dennis Anderson and the crowd favorite, the Gravedigger. Unbelievable airborne leap. Anderson
Anderson lands and heads into the first turn. Hard on the throttle now, hard on the brakes as he goes hard, tight left and heads for the finish line. The mark to beat still 21:13. And problems for Anderson. A small exhaust header fire underneath the truck. He's got big-time problems. What was certainly going to be the best run of the event so far now ends with the fire extinguishers being sprayed on the green Chevrolet. On the starting line, Gary Schott's Valvoline racer gets ready, but looking at the replay of Dennis Anderson's mishap, it's important to note that our ESPN timers indicated that Anderson was bettering Bigfoot's qualifying time by some 3 seconds when the problem occurred in the last turn. He had the run of the event going, but settles for a time of 3 minutes, 32 seconds flat. Gary Schott heads very conservatively for the first set of cars. Big power stand as he applies power in the middle of the crushed cars, now moving into turn 1. Schott at this point seems concerned that the heavyweight Valvoline Chevrolet may not be suited as much to this particular track as some of the lighter weight trucks, as he is apparently just going to take his time and make sure he gets around this course in order to qualify. He'll already be well ahead of Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. The elapsed time, 33.09 seconds. Chris Chapman is talking with Dennis Anderson right now.
Dennis, fire and monster trucks do not mix.
Yeah, I know it. What happened to me is one of my my little wing nuts on my injector got loose, and the throttle was sticking on me. So I was hammering on the brakes trying to get it to slow down so I could make this turn. So I just shut it down over there and said, what the heck, I'm going to lose out on qualifying. But we came back, we got the idle set back down on it, and I finished my course, so I'm still in.
So what did you think when you looked back there? And I'm sure you could see there was a fire.
Yeah, well, I knew my brakes were hot. I could smell it before I even stopped. So I was just hoping it didn't go burst into flames. So we got it together. We're ready to go again.
And then whatever possessed you to go off the other end of the track and almost turn it over?
Yeah, well, that was for my fans, you know. And if I would have gone up and crawled across the cars, that's not my style. I got to get air and be wild.
Ready for the first round of side-by-side monster truck racing on one of the most bizarre courses ever conceived, a zigzag Z-shaped course. Bigfoot versus Gary Schott and the Valvoline monster leave the starting line together, and Bigfoot drives away like a rocket. Now into the tight first turn, each driver making a hard right into their own individual lane, but this one won't even be close. It's almost a solo run for Jim Kramer. Look at him make the turns, get right back on the throttle. He'll cross the finish line well ahead of the heavyweight Chevrolet. And in Gary Schott's defense, it should be pointed out that he's giving up about 7,000 pounds to the Big Blue Ford, and just to make it that close was a chore in itself. The next pair already staging up and ready for action. The AM/PM boss of Robert Parker on the right-hand side against the green machine that had problems. Dennis Anderson, another incredible leap in the Gravedigger. Then going to the first turn, Parker stalls and will hand a huge advantage to the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Parker apparently unable to recover. It'll be another near solo effort. Anderson goes to the next round. It should be pointed out that the quickest loser of this first round will be inserted into the semifinal field of 4. But Parker is still stuck at the end of the first straight. He will not be a factor in that. The next pair on the starting line, it'll be in the far lane, the Ecology Eliminator of your number 2 qualifier, Jim Reese. Huge hole shot over the green Skull Crusher. Look at Reese sideways off the first set of cars, now setting up for that hard right-hand turn. They actually make the turn together. It looks like the Skull Crusher may actually be a factor here. But look at the red Chevrolet driver locking up the brakes with the rear wheels coming up. He hits the pole. But that won't be a disqualification yet. Reese hits the finish line a winner. After one of the wilder rides, and credit has to go to the Skull team for keeping up in a heated battle. On on the replay, you can see the hole shot. Watch this landing for the red Chevrolet sideways there. But when they went into the first hard, literally U-turn to the right, it was really an even battle. The difference was made up right here. The Chevrolet powers into the turn, locks up the brakes, and pulls the rear wheels off the ground. He taps the pole, but re-straightens it out and comes home a winner in the first round of eliminations. A wild run for the hometown favorite. We pointed out that the first round's quickest loser would be reinstated into the semis, and here he is, the Skull Crusher in the far lane. But problems already set in here in the first race of the semifinals, and Jim Reese's Ecology Eliminator drives away from the struggling Skull Crusher. It should be a free ride for the Chevrolet pilot. Reese manages to keep the rear wheels on the ground coming around the last turn this time around. Now nails the throttle hard to cross the finish line and advance into his first final round appearance of the 1991 U.S. Hobbit Association season. Big problems for the Skull Crusher team. That will bring up the clash of the Titans, Bigfoot and Gravedigger, to meet the Ecology Eliminator in the final. A wheel standing launch for the Gravedigger, but a sideways landing. He'll make the turn anyway. Jim Kramer and Bigfoot swings around perfectly and has to make up the difference. Coming into the last turn, it's going to be tight. Anderson goes wide and looked almost scared of running into Bigfoot side by side, but now Kramer goes past the winner. Look at Anderson all over the track, but a loser nonetheless as Bigfoot uses sheer intimidation to win. You can see the advantage going to the Gravedigger off the starting line. Then that bobble allowed Jim Kramer to make up time. That put them dead even going into the last turn. Now watch Anderson. He had it straightened out, but saw the blue Ford coming around. He actually gave room to Jim Kramer and then went sideways trying to make up for his own mistake. Kramer benefits on Anderson's indecision. Meanwhile, back in Anaheim, California, we are ready for a showdown of monster behemoths. It'll be Jim Kramer at the wheel of the Bigfoot Ford, taking on another hometown hitter, Jim Reese, at the wheel of the Ecology Auto Wrecking Eliminator. The Z-shaped course has caused quite a few drivers to make several second guesses that cost them a run. But right now, everybody will have to go all out. They leave the line and the whole shot goes to the hometown Chevrolet. Through the air, they head for the first turn and a tap. They actually touched going into the first turn. Kramer, hard on the throttle, takes the turn perfectly in the blue Ford. They now move into the last turn. And they collide. Unbelievable. Kramer gets back on the gas and will cruise across the finish line, a winner in Bigfoot. This is going to be a big decision by the officials here. Was it rough driving? Was Bigfoot in front of the Eliminator? Reese is mad. Mike Speller in front of the truck, the U.S. Hobbit Association event director, talking with officials by way of two-way radio to find out whether or not it's a legal maneuver. The whole shot definitely went to the Chevrolet. They touch there when Reese gets on the brakes too hard for the first turn. Kramer makes up this much distance, and they come out of the last turn together. Incredible. Was there a driver at fault in this situation? We just received word from the U.S. Hobbit Association officials that Bigfoot is the winner. The win officially goes to Bigfoot. The Eliminator sitting with a flattened tire. Driver Jim Reese throwing his gloves in the cockpit. The crew is upset. They say no way. Jim Kramer is out of Bigfoot and Chris Chapman's got him.
Jim, I think you heard the verdict. You are the winner.
Well, that's why we have officials. The track is really narrow over there. And we talked about this earlier at the drivers' meeting, that when you swing around like that, we've got a little more room, even if you have to drop off of that berm. It's not an ideal track, but that's what we chose to run with. It's a little tight in that area. And all night long, like I discussed with Gravedigger, that came up. Just drop off that berm, give a little room. You got to give a little bit. And that's why I got officials. If they thought I was in his lane, I would be disqualified, and he would be the winner. But they judged it I was okay, and he didn't give me enough room. So it was a good run. He run hard. Jim Reese is really a good competitor, and we'll get him next time, or he'll get me, maybe.
What in the world went through your mind when you all got together out there?
All I heard was a boom. It didn't feel real bad. I don't think we have a lot of damage, but I really need to check it out.
Jim, it doesn't really seem fair that you're not in there. It looked like you had that race won.
Yeah, I thought I had it run. It was a real good run for me. I feel like the best of the night. Track conditions are a little tough. It gets tight in this corner, and you know, I don't think it was a fair call, but I guess that's racing.
So do you believe Jim Kramer came into your lane and knocked you out of this one?
Yeah, I do. You know, when you come into a situation like this, you have to bow right away. You know, I came out of my corner, I was accelerating, heading for the finish line. As you can see, if you point the camera, there's only so much lane here before you have a drop-off. Where was I to go? Over there? Probably would have ended up the same way.
Looks like you are obviously not satisfied with the official's decision.
Well, yeah, I'm not real happy. You know, this is our hometown. Got a lot of fans here. We came out here to race and then come out on top, and we thought we had a chance at it. But I'll have to settle with second place tonight.
Indeed he will, after one of the most outrageous final rounds imaginable. The Ecology Eliminator comes out second best with some of the biggest names in the business on a bizarre Z-shaped course. Dennis Anderson's Grave Digger from North Carolina starts things off with a huge launch and a sideways landing as he battles the clock to start qualifying. A hard right turn and a hard left-hand turn with 3 straights intertwined. Anderson heads for the home stretch and clears the finish line 5 feet in the air. The elapsed time for the incredible Gravedigger, 20.17 seconds, and that will set the pace for the remainder of the trucks attempting to qualify. Robert Parker in the AM/PM Boss Chevrolet leaves the starting line. One of the California-based trucks of the Super Truck team of Seth Dalton makes it into the first right-hand turn. And problems, he's broken the rear end. Parker amazingly keeps that truck from flipping over. Looking at the replay, he comes down nicely from this jump. Now keep your eye on the back end as he makes the turn. Watch the lower tie rod snap off. The left rear wheel goes berserk, and amazingly, Parker is capable of keeping this thing on all fours. That could have been disastrous, and driving it back to the pits is going to be treacherous. On the starting line, a newcomer to the U.S. Harvard Association Tour, and Chris Chapman talked with him earlier.
Well, about 30 hours and 3 time zones is what it took Scott Stevens in the King Crunch Special to get from Woodlands, Texas to Anaheim Stadium to compete in a monster truck race. But Scott, things didn't go so great last time.
I don't know, the trucks are definitely getting a little bit more difficult to keep up on, but the little simple things kicked our tail last night. You know, a little dollar piece of transmission, a ring that holds the clutches in just came apart. And you know, the technology is definitely getting, the trucks are getting more advanced, you know, every year. You know, the little things sometimes are the hardest things to conquer.
All right, now Stevens has to be concerned about conquering this Anaheim, California course. It has already proven to be a rough one. Beautiful launch off the first set of cars, a rough landing, using the independent front and rear steering to straighten it out and going to that first hard right-hand turn. Stevens looks disoriented. In fact, he may even be having mechanical problems here. And definitely there is something wrong in the drivetrain. That landing must have been a little bit too rough, and Stevens knows it. At this point, his only option is to idle around the course and hope that whatever elapsed time comes up keeps him qualified in this field. He'll take the final turn at the unlikely speed of about 10 miles per hour and just inch his way towards the finish line. But at this point, he knows he has a lot of work to do in the pit area if he expects to come back for the first round of eliminations. Therefore, taking it easy is probably the safest bet. As he crawls across the finish line, the elapsed time comes up. Ironically, 69 seconds flat. We're back at Anaheim Stadium at Anaheim, California, as qualifying continues for this 8-truck open U.S. Harvard Association monster truck field, and things are already wild. Dennis Anderson leads the pack at 20.17 seconds. Here's Gary Schott and the Valvoline-sponsored Monster Chevrolet. Schott taking things relatively conservatively, but keep in mind that this truck weighs in on a 6,000 pounds more than most of the lightweight racing entries entered in this field. Now, pedal down the second straightaway as he heads into the last turn. A hard left, but something goes wrong in the drivetrain. You can see Schott looking down, trying to see if the machine fell out of gear. He gets her going again and crosses the finish line with an elapsed time of 31.11 seconds. Believe it or not, that'll be good for number 2 right now. But here comes the killer, Jim Kramer, and the incredible Bigfoot Ford, leaving the line as only he can. Stumbling just a tad. Boy, every driver is having problems negotiating these incredibly tight turns. Kramer trying to better 20.17 seconds. Straightens her out, heads for the finish line. Kramer lands the elapsed time, 18.11 seconds. Number 1 for the Big Blue Ford. Bobby Z in the Skull Crusher Ford, ready to leave. Another driver who obviously feels that conservatism may be the best bet here in qualifying, saving the equipment for what will obviously be a tough elimination round. He, too, stumbles slightly in the first turn. Now taking it wide around the last banner. He straightens it out and heads for the finish line clocks. Actually, an excellent run for Bobby Z. 25.03 seconds. That'll put him number 3 in the field. But on the starting line, one of the California hometown favorites, Los Angeles' own Jim Reese in the Ecology Wrecking Yard Eliminator Chevy. And this is a full power pass, no question about it. Reese takes the turn beautifully, not a bobble anywhere. Pedal hard down, heading for the last turn. He takes it extremely tight, nails it, trying to beat the 18-second mark of Bigfoot. The Eliminator, 21.11 seconds. It should be interesting to see what happens in side-by-side racing. The brand new lightweight racer, Pablo Cruz, lines up against this man, Dennis Anderson, out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, in the incredible Gravedigger. They leave the line. The Gravedigger with a half-truck hole shot. Both machines with rough landings as they move into the first turn. A hard right-hander on this Z-shaped course. And it looks like the Tough Enough machine has already lost a lot of ground to the Big 50 Chevrolet. Anderson heads into the last turn hard as Cruz tries to make up lost ground, but he's not going to do it. Beautiful mid-air flight of the winner, Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson. Cruz still trying to pick up the pace, but a tough break for the brand new machine. He obviously is already out of the picture. Dennis Anderson heads back to the pit area, and you can see Jim Reese there in the pit line telling Anderson he's broken something on the front end of that truck. We'll take another look at the final turn and final straight. Anderson comes down, and yes, sparks, and then a drive shaft coming out from behind the truck. He lost the front drive shaft and did some damage to the front of the Gravedigger, that's for sure. On the line, it'll be Scott Stevens in the new King Crunch Chevrolet and Bobby Z in the Skull Crusher. The King Crunch machine ran into problems in qualifying, but leaves the starting line with a sizable advantage right now. Again, a rough landing off the first set of cars. The drivers set themselves up for the first turn. The green Ford trying to keep pace with the blue Chevy from Texas, and it's going to be a tight finish. Look at this. Following each other, but problems and breakage, an entire front end broken for the Skull Crusher. The King Crunch machine survives what is turning into the Carnage Nationals. Everybody suffering severe breakage. Look at Bobby Z losing the entire front end of the green Ford. Take a look. Z comes around the turn, literally a few feet behind King Crunch, and then snap. Everything goes away. The safety crews right now trying to figure out how they're going to haul this thing off the course. We can only hope that Scott Stevens and the King Crunch machine survived without problems, but we've just received word that it's possible that even Jim Kramer and Bigfoot may not be able to make this round. They've discovered a problem in the pits. Robert Parker, the AM/PM boss, moves it up against Gary Schott and the Valvoline racer. Starter Mike Speller, one of the U.S. Hobbit Association event director, gives him the green. Look at Parker. Repeated bounces, keeps the front end way in the air, but a lot of smoke as he heads into the turn. I don't believe it. Another truck has suffered severe engine damage. This will be a free ride for Schott of the Valvoline machine. That's, of course, if he can keep together. So far, so good. Rounding the last turn, the heavyweight scores a major upset here. And he's not going to push the parts any harder than he has to. Absolutely incredible. We've lost at least one truck in every pair so far of this first round. And Gary Schott will take it easy. There you see Robert Parker checking out the damage. That was all motor death smoke there. But the crowd has given up a huge cheer for Jim Reese in the Eliminator. But wait a minute. The Eliminator is the only truck on the starting line. He's going to take a solo. Bigfoot was unable to pull to the starting line in time. The problems they suffered getting the #1 qualifying spot cost them their only shot at the entire race. And the Eliminator gets the solo run into the second round at the expense of the non-showing Big Blue Ford. Using the stagger steer to come through the finish line, drafts sideways. He'll take the win with no noticeable parts damage. Chris Chapman is in the pits with Dennis Anderson. She's got the word on what happened to the Gravedigger.
Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger had a really easy win over Tough Enough. However, the broken piece that we're looking at is going to keep them out of competition the rest of the day.
Yeah, what I done is I broke a 4-link bar. I broke it over here on the last pile of cars after I made my turn. And so, therefore, it's going to put me out of the race for tonight. And we'll go back and get it fixed up. You know, like I said, we're working on the suspension, trying to get it all ironed out. We've got a few brackets we have to reinforce a little bit more. The suspension's new to us, but once we get it ironed out, it's going to be a bad truck.
It's the King Crunch of Scott Stevens against Bigfoot. Now, we haven't seen Jim Kramer and Bigfoot so far in eliminations because he received a bye run in the first round as the #1 qualifier. But now he's got to take on the crunch entry of Stevens. Look out, he's up on 2 wheels and misses the turn entirely. Kramer will get another free ride. He'll bring it around the last turn rather easily. The King Crunch machine out of the race entirely. Kramer had intimated previously that he may be having parts problems. Chris Chapman talked to him after his first round bye run to find out.
Jim Kramer, you took it awful easy on that bye run.
Well, yeah, I've got a few problems from last night. We had kind of a little mishap last night. You know, 2 trucks got together, so I'm running with kind of a broken lock and differential. So I'm having to take it easy, and when I need to push it hard, I'll push it hard. But right now, I did take it a little bit easy, but I'm going to save the truck for later.
Well, he'll have to save it. You can see the crowd raising that cheer again for the hometown hero, the Big Red Chevrolet of Jim Reese, the Ecology Wrecking Eliminator, as he leaves the line with the Valvoline Racer of Schott. And right now, it looks like Schott is completely out of the ball game. The heavyweight Chevrolet just can't keep up with the California racer, understandably with a 10,000-pound weight disadvantage. Reese moves into another final round with Bigfoot. Schott continues the run, a valiant semifinal finish for this guy, with a truck that, like I said, is giving up a huge weight displacement advantage. And we have just received word that, believe it or not, in this breakage-plagued race, the Bigfoot Ford is unable to return. Now the Eliminator breaks on the starting line. And Scott Stevens, the King Crunch Chevy driver who was reinstated when Bigfoot could not return, also breaks. This is absolutely incredible. Jim Reese, frustrated beyond belief. He can't even get into a forward gear with the Eliminator. Look at the death smoke pouring from the rear-mounted engine of the Auto Value Chevy. But Stevens is going to idle around this track for a win. Reese amazingly gets the truck back into a forward gear, but his opponent is right now walking over the finish line. The first national event title of the year on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Trail for Stevens comes at what must rank as one of the single most bizarre monster truck competitions ever held. Jim Reese now stranded out in the middle of the field. Stevens Chevy will probably not even be able to make it back to the pits under its own power. This one is the weirdest yet, folks.
God, it wasn't pretty, but it was a win.
It's pretty nasty, I'll tell you. You know, we'll take it any way we can get it. Reese just had some bad luck. We broke another line, so if his truck would have just kept going or whatever, he'd have definitely kicked our tails.
It has to rank as the strangest race ever. Here you see the replay of the slowest winning run in monster truck history. Bigfoot could not return. The Auto Value Chevrolet got back in, and Scott Stevens used it to his advantage to win his first U.S. Harvard Association title.
You can feel the ground rumble as these two monsters line up side by side in round number 1. Lyle Hancock piloting Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, going against Andy Brass and Bigfoot. Andy Brass was our fastest qualifier, but he runs hard all the time. Andy Brass out of West Alta, Missouri, piloting Bob and Marilyn Chandler's Bigfoot. Bigfoot and Gravedigger side by side. They power up, get set to go, and there they are, off and away. Look at this, a great hole shot for Gravedigger. Whoa, look out! Lyle trying his best to keep it on all 4 wheels. A wild ride and a win for the Gravedigger. And the crowd on their feet. I've got to see this again. Over the first set of cars, comes over a little out of shape, tries to straighten it out before he hits the next set, and then it's anybody's guess as to what Lyle Hancock is doing, short of keeping it on the track, or at least in the arena. But wait a minute, U.S. Hot Rod Association officials say that Gravedigger jumped the light. He jumped the light. He does not win. Your winner is Bigfoot. This incredible ride of Lyle Hancock and the Gravedigger means absolutely, positively nothing. He jumped the light. He's out of there, disqualified, and the win goes to Andy Brass and Bigfoot. Here comes the Equalizer and Taurus. David Morris and the Equalizer out of Springfield, Tennessee. This guy has done extremely well on the Monster Truck Challenge Tour so far in 1992. But he's going up against the world champion, Jackie Willman and Taurus.
Number 2 qualifier tonight in that first round of competition, but a little problem at the end. Tell us about it, Jack.
Well, I got carpet in the truck, and it's come unglued, and my foot got tangled up in it. I just couldn't find the brake pedal.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked pretty scary there at the end. Any damage at all to the truck?
No, it's just some minor body damage. I was real lucky on that.
Dan Danner talking with Jackie Wellman about that qualifying run where he got a little squirrely on us. So it's Equalizer and Taurus side by side here in Anaheim, waiting for the thumbs up and the green light, and away they go. Jackie Willman with a great hole shot, and look at this. David Morris comes from behind for the win. The incredible Equalizer, the slowest qualifier here in Anaheim, defeats Taurus. And Taurus had a lead. He had the hole shot. David Morris is just driving his heart out on this one. And he catches him in the air over the second set of cars. He takes out the finish line pole. On the starting line, Taurus with a good hole shot. Almost an entire truck length lead. He comes over the cars, bobbles. This is David Morris's chance. He turns it on and gets the win here. We talked about that trouble that Jack had in the qualifying run. Maybe it wasn't all carpet. Here's the Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter, going against Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. Fred out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Now, he was the 1990 world champion, and he's doing his best to recapture that title in 1992. But when you're among the best, you have guys like this one to contend with. Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, who on any given day can turn it on and come up with a win. We're set to go side by side, Barefoot and Carolina Crusher. Green light, and Barefoot with the hole shot. They both slow down after the first set of cars, and it's anybody's guess. We'll have to check the ESPN cameras and wait for the U.S. Hot Rod Association to make a determination on that one. Carolina Crusher and Barefoot. There's Gary Porter. He backs off. They seem to be coming off the first set of cars with a problem in both lanes so far. This is Barefoot's run. Now, he pulled way over to the left, and he's still leaning to the left, tries to oversteer to the right, and he comes across.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're announcing the winner. The winner on that one is Barefoot. Barefoot, the guy with the hole shot, was able to hold on. This is where Carolina Crusher starts to catch up. Barefoot turns it on now. And, ooh, just inches separate the two. The win to Fred Schaefer in the air and Barefoot. Thanks, Ken. Here we go with our next matchup. I just can't believe the action we've seen already here today, and we're just in round number 2, our semifinals, with equalizer David Morris out of Springfield, Tennessee, going against Lyle Hancock and the Gravedigger. Now, Hancock, he seems to have lost reverse on the truck. They're having to back him up to get him staged. This does not look good for Gravedigger. David Morris, under his own power, gets staged. Both trucks are ready. They're on the line. Look for the green light. There they go. Gravedigger with a great hole shot. Equalizer comes from behind. I don't know where he got the horsepower for that, but David Morris had to go over that first set of cars before he got any speed out of it, and then, like a rocket, shot up ahead and defeated the Gravedigger. Can this guy drive or what? Where did he find it? Did he find 2 extra cylinders on the truck? I don't know what it is, but the equalizer and David Morris gets another win on Monster Truck Challenge. They're on the line. Gravedigger gets the hole shot. He's a full truck length ahead. And David Morris, the equalizer, comes over. All 4 tires planted, turns on the power, and sails in to our championship round. The equalizer defeats the Gravedigger in Anaheim. There's a problem with equalizer, though. David Morris is coming down to join the truck owner, Gary Cook, and now Mike Speller, the track official, says, do you want us to tow you out? And they're saying yes. This does not look good for equalizer. Our next matchup, Taurus and Carolina Crusher. Carolina Crusher, piloted by Gary Porter out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, goes up against the reigning world champion, Jackie Willman and Taurus. They're both set, they're both staged and waiting for the green light. It's showtime in Anaheim. And there's no doubt anybody's mind who won that one. Jack Willman and Taurus almost takes it out of the stadium, but he does take it to our championship heat here in Anaheim. An exciting run. He had some problems early on. He comes back, though, and has managed to master this track. Taurus, an impressive win over the Carolina Crusher. One more time, slow-mo, you can see from the very start, it was all Taurus. Down plants and goes, really opens up that lead. About a 2-truck length lead in the air for Jack Willman, the world champ with Taurus. Well, this track certainly has taken its toll on the competitors. Gravedigger and Lyle Hancock will face the Taurus in this final.
I gave it the best I could. The round before, we hurt the transmission, and I knew I had to get a jump on him to get out there even close to him, and I just didn't have enough to roll her out in the last gear. He beat me, and then at the end of the course, he broke his truck, so we're going to get one more chance to come back.
So now you say you broke a transmission on the run. Are you going to be able to make those repairs in time?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to run it a lot harder in first and second gear than I normally do to kind of buzz the motor up. I've lost drive gear, so it kind of shortens me to make all the way to the end of the track.
Not very encouraging words from Lyle Hancock of the Gravedigger. But, you know, Jackie Willman has not been doing extremely well so far today. He's had a lot of handling problems.
I've not had a real good night. I come back as a fast loser, and then I got to jump on Carolina Crusher last run, and I'm just glad to be in the final.
Well, is it the track that's causing the problems for you?
Well, there's a little bit of the track, and I haven't driven this truck very much, and I'm just getting used to it and just trying to do my best.
So the question is, can Jack Willman hold on, or will the Gravedigger take it all in this devil track in Anaheim? The Gravedigger is staged. Taurus is staged. It's showtime! And Taurus with a hole shot and a half. The Gravedigger matchup. And the win goes to Jackie Willman and Taurus. Everybody was having trouble here in Anaheim. We heard Lyle Hancock say he had transmission problems, but Jack Willman said, I can do it. That's why this guy is the world champion. He still has those maneuvering problems he suffered in that lane all day long, but he comes up with the win. An incredible day of racing in Anaheim. The Gravedigger taking his time on the start. He just didn't have that first gear. But, you know, he was the lesser injured of the two. David Morris, an equalizer, could not even answer the call. At least the Gravedigger got out there. And he did have a pretty good run. But nothing compared to the incredible run that Jackie Willman was able to put down with the Taurus. One more time over the first set of cars, way before Digger can get rolling. And this is where Jack Willman won it, right on the hole shot. A tough break for Lyle Hancock. He does get runner-up money, and the points and the championship in Anaheim goes to Jackie Willman and Taurus.
And what a tough break for Rob Fuchs and First Blood. A rough ride in his qualifying run, transmission problems, and there you see the truck just sitting there. He's not able to come to the line, could not answer the call. Rob Fuchs out of Woodstock, Illinois in First Blood. He made it to the first round, but he's not going to be able to answer the call. Ray Perkowski, he's lucky enough to get a bye run. The truck and a Florissant, Missouri. Ray Perkowski and the Invader. The Invader's on the starting line waiting for the green light here at Anaheim Stadium. He's all staged. Thumbs up. There he goes. The Invader over the first set of cars, taking it easy, saving the equipment when he has to challenge somebody in round number 2. But the Invader over the cars, our second race today. It's Joey Pittman and Tough Enough against John Moore and No Problem. Joey Pittman out of Phoenix, Arizona, driving Pablo Cruz's Tough Enough. Here's John Moore and No Problem, the Ford Bronco out of Lafayette, Tennessee. That's right, Lafayette, Tennessee. And No Problem. John travels with his crew, his wife Heidi and his daughter Jill. The trucks are at the starting line waiting for the green light. There they go. It looks as though No Problem may have jumped the light. And Tough Enough seems to have some problem over the first set of cars. He gets started again. John Moore easily winning the race. John Moore easily winning the race and No Problem. But the question is, did he jump the light? You see the tires move there just a little bit. We could not see the light here. A great run for John Moore and No Problem. He approaches the second set over the cars and across the finish line. And the U.S. Hot Rod Association confirms it now. Despite being across the finish line first, John Moore did jump the light. He's disqualified. The win goes to Joey Pittman and Tough Enough. Here's John Kwasniewski in race number 3. Johnny at Lackawanna, New York, and the Buffalo Tremor. They call him Johnny K. He goes up against Nick Rossi from Pennsauken, New Jersey, and the Outlaw. Now, in a qualifying run, you can see here, Nick Rossi had some problems, a lot of smoke coming out of the truck, and Nick explains exactly what happened.
Yeah, we blew the oil drain tube out of the top of the valve cover. It gets rid of all the excess gases and oil, and it just blew oil all over the place and almost caught on fire on the headers.
Then there's got to be a concern of Nick Rossi and the Outlaw. Is it corrected? Can he run strong against the Tremor? Let's find out as they're lined up side by side. Outlaw and Tremor, there they go. Outlaw with a hole shot. Side by side approaching the second set of cars, and the Tremor reaching deep down from within. The Tremor gets the extra horsepower, and the win to Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor. He moves on to round number 2 of the United States Hot Rod Association Monster Truck Challenge. Now, Nick Rossi told us the Outlaw had some problems on the qualifying run. And if you look in the gray truck there in lane number 2, the smoke pouring out, that cost him horsepower and cost him the race. John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor picks up a win. He does it right here As he approaches the second set of cars, he gives it that extra something, and it powers him across the finish line as the Outlaw limps across with smoke coming out of it. The crowd pumped up and ready for round number 2. The Monsters are at the starting line. Ray Perkowski in the Invader, Joey Pittman, and Tough Enough. Pittman's on the line right now out of Phoenix, Arizona. He's going up against Ray Perkowski and the Invader. Thumbs up from the Invader. There they go. And Invader with a great hole shot. Pittman had trouble on the starting line. And the Invader easily winning. Ray Perkowski moves on to our championship race. But what happened to Tough Enough? Ray Perkowski's looking back to see where Tough Enough is. He won the race, but Joey Pittman and Tough Enough going back in the pits. Apparently what happened on this run, and we can see it here, off the line, he lost the rear drive shaft. In doing that, it knocked the bolt that holds the rear steer steady. So the rear tires are free-flowing. Joey's having to drive with the front and no drive shaft pushing the tires in the back. He can't control the truck. Tough Enough is just out of there. There's no way for that truck to get across these cars. The Invader wins in Monster Truck Challenge in Anaheim. Our next matchup will pit this truck, Nick Rossi's Outlaw, the truck that's had lots of engine problems today, against Johnny Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor. Now, Nick Rossi's Outlaw does not appear to be smoking now.
We're running on a spare motor right now. We got a lot of bugs we got to work out of it before we can switch over.
Well, I'll tell you what, looks like the track a little hazardous, is it?
Yeah, the track's real rough. I'm down on horsepower right now, which has kind of helped me. The horsepower isn't going to win the race tonight.
So that answers the question as to why we don't see any smoke. He's got a brand new engine in the Jersey Outlaw. Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor's been running strong all day long. A Chevy Ford matchup in Anaheim. One goes to the finals, one goes to the trailers. Will it be the Outlaw or the Tremor? There they go. Outlaw with a hole shot. Horsepower, he says, will not win it. But Johnny K does defeat the Jersey Outlaw. John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor, almost an instant replay of that previous race as he's faltering on the starting line and then catches them right here. He turns it on and has mastered this track on that second set of cars. John Kwasniewski and the Tremor will take on the Invader in our championship. And what happened to the Outlaw? Well, nothing really. He said he had some horsepower problems, a new engine, a lot of bugs to work out. And this was a good run for a guy who just put a brand new engine in his truck for the first run on this engine. As the trucks come around to stage for our championship, they are the Invader, Ray Perkowski out of Florissant, Missouri, the hot-running Ford on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Monster Truck Challenge Tour. And he's going up against a Chevy, a new Chevy, John Kwasniewski's Buffalo Tremor out of Lackawanna, New York, a truck that John built to try to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough competition. Look, we built this brand new truck just for this, and we expect to get in the finals quite a few times with it.
Well, now that you're in the final round, what is it going to take to win?
Well, we're going to go all out, hammer it. That's what it takes. Whatever it takes to win, and we're going to do it.
Well, good luck to you out here.
Thank you very much.
Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor. This is straight line racing. Here we go in Anaheim. The Tremor with the lead. And look, again, the Invader comes from behind. Could he catch up in time? Did he catch up in time? We'll have to take another look at that one before we can determine a winner. Was it the Tremor or the Invader? The Invader off the line looked very, very good. He picks up right here and starts to turn it on, and it come from behind. He does come from behind. Your winner, Ray Perkowski and the Invader.
Well, I tell you, I don't know how close it was. You know, all I do is, I try not to look at the other guy, but I knew he was right next to me all the time.
Well, they had to take it to the replay booth and kind of figure out who won it. It was a photo finish, but an incredible race.
Thank you. This is a great way to start the season off.
And a win for the Invader. Johnny K was running strong. Some handling problems right here. The only flaw in that run, that half second or so to correct that, is what cost him the race. So the Invader wins here in Anaheim on the United States Hot Rod Association's Monster Truck Challenge.
The current points winner
Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger, but can he keep it up all season long? They're staged, Predator and Digger. Let's take a look at these guys. Dennis Anderson qualified 4th in Gravedigger. He picked up 6 points for that one. 8th in qualifying for Predator. He gets a measly 2 points for that. He's going to have to work to build up that point standing. So Alan Pizzo brings Predator up to stage. Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger is already there. We'll see on the other side of the line, guys. And Digger gets a hole shot. Cut a great line off the line, and it's all Digger on this race. Predator had some problems off the line. We may see mechanical problems there, but the winner is Gravedigger, showing you why he is the current points leader. Equalizer and Invader stage. These two trucks have met twice before this year, and Equalizer was victorious both times. Ray Perkowski drives Invader. He qualified 7th today. David Morris aboard the Equalizer was 3rd in qualifying. And now it's side-by-side racing in round number 1 for these two gladiators. The monster trucks capable of jumping 110 to 115 feet. That's 14 car widths. They're up waiting for the green light. Showtime. Invader with a hole shot, but Equalizer coming from behind. Invader just doesn't have the power. Equalizer wins it. Equalizer with a 3/4 second lead over Invader moves on to round 2. Your winner, Equalizer. 3 times this season these two trucks have met. Carolina Crusher has been victorious all 3 times. Gary Porter aboard the Crusher qualified 2nd today. Mark Bendler and Kodiak qualified 6th. Now, Kodiak has had every problem imaginable this year. He's dropped drive shafts, transmissions, he's had power problems, but he keeps on coming back. And determination is what it takes in monster truck racing. Both these guys own 4x4 shops, and they both are experts in what they do. On the start, Carolina Crusher with a hole shot. Kodiak battles back, but it's too late. Carolina Crusher wins it. Gary Porter was right on at the start. Mark Bendler was caught napping in Kodiak. A great hole shot, cutting a good light, and a 2-truck length lead for Carolina Crusher. This is great racing. A great way to handle your truck up and over, and now speed. He sails over all the cars. The long drive from Illinois to Anaheim, California. Was it worth it for the world champ? We'll find out. Wayne Smozanik is his competition in Tropical Thunder. Tropical Thunder qualified 9th. The world champ, Fred Schaefer in Barefoot, was our 5th fastest qualifier. Tropical Thunder has never been able to beat Barefoot. Is Wayne Smozanik going to learn from his past mistakes? Is he getting lucky? We'll find out as they wait for the green light. On the start is Tropical Thunder with a great hole shot. What a leap! What a leap at what's going on with the world champ! Tropical Thunder wins it. Barefoot is disqualified. USHRA rules require that both front tires hit the second ramp and go over the cars. Barefoot didn't do it. The replay will show he comes up and sideways and does not hit the ramp with both front tires. Right here. He's out of there. And Wayne Smozanik gets his first win of the year in Tropical Thunder against the world champ. A rough ride, but a win all the same. No doubt about it, Tropical Thunder is going to have to do better than this if he's going to move on in competition. He was lucky, but he took a very, very rough ride over the cars, bouncing all over the track. You got to get that thing under control. When Barefoot left the line, it was almost as if he realized he gave it too much power. It was too late, though. He could not back out of it and then get corrected before he hit that second line of cars. Digger comes up to stage. Dennis Anderson is there, waits for the green light. It's Digger time in Anaheim. Off the start. What a leap. Where's he going? Luann, did you say rock and roll? That's what this guy's doing. Gravedigger is all over the track. Mr. Anderson's wild ride. Dennis Anderson gives the crowd a thrill and just barely escapes a spill in the Gravedigger, and this is just a by-run. You know, for a by-run, that was very, very hard on Gravedigger. I hope he can hold together and that caused no damage for him because he's moving on to the semis. For the matchup between Taurus and Tropical Thunder. Taurus weighing in at 10,000 pounds, 1,200 horses. Jack Willman Sr., the designer of this truck. Tropical Thunder, driven by Wayne Smozanik, 10,300 pounds, 1,500 horses. Tropical Thunder beat Barefoot, the world champion, in round number 1, but it was a bumpy ride. Did he learn something from that one? Can he smooth it out? Let's find out. Tropical Thunder cuts a good light, gets a hole shot, and now he has to hold on to the lead. He does! He does! Tropical Thunder wins it, but it may have cost him an engine. There's smoke coming out of that thing. These guys have met 3 times so far this year. Equalizer victorious all 3 times. But it's a different track, a different kind of racing, straight line racing. And here we go with Equalizer building up a lead. Invader just doesn't have the power to do it. Equalizer wins. Talking about the monster trucks traveling, this guy comes from one coast to the other coast. It's Carolina Crusher, and he's in California going against Fred Schaefer in Barefoot. Let's see if Schaefer learned anything after that first round loss. Now, Barefoot weighs in at 10,000 pounds, a little more, 10,050, 1,500 horses. Carolina Crusher, 10,000 on the nose, 1,400 horses. Does the horsepower advantage for Barefoot make any difference? Let's find out. On the start, Carolina Crusher with a hole shot, but now the big Dodge powers up. It's Barefoot, 4.60 seconds. Equalizer, the truck that's been there 4 times this season, winning twice. And Tropical Thunder, driven by Wayne Smozanik, he has not been in the finals yet this season. Equalizer, 5.45 on average time. Tropical Thunder, 6.09. What a day it's been for Tropical Thunder. He took out the world champion Barefoot in round number 1. In round number 2, he defeated the fastest qualifier Taurus. But now he goes against Equalizer. They've met 3 times this year, and Equalizer has won all 3 times. Can Tropical Thunder make it 3 in a row? Let's find out. On the start, Tropical Thunder looks good, but he goes too high, and Equalizer is already at the finish line. Equalizer wins it. Equalizer ends Tropical Thunder's win streak here in Anaheim. Barefoot is coming out. Now, this is the truck that lost to Tropical Thunder and came back as a fast loser, but he's going against Gravedigger. This seems almost like a final. Now, these guys have met 4 times this year, and Barefoot has taken out Digger all 4 times. The question is, can Gravedigger beat Barefoot? Fred Schaefer's average time has been 5.25 in Barefoot. Dennis Anderson's time in Gravedigger, 5.28. 0.03 of a second separate these 2 guys, and their fast average times on this track. Very fast indeed. Gravedigger and Barefoot staged and ready to go, waiting for the green light in Anaheim. Digger with a hole shot. Barefoot has to fight to catch up. He can't do it. It's Digger. Gravedigger's in the finals as he smokes the world champ. Gravedigger has been to the finals 6 times this season. He's lost only once. And now he wants to make it 5 wins. But he's got to get past the Equalizer with David Morris. These guys have met 3 times this season. Equalizer's won once. Gravedigger's been victorious twice. Equalizer got here by defeating Invader in round 1 and in round 2, and Tropical Thunder in the semis. Gravedigger took out Predator in round number 1, got a bye run in 2, and defeated Barefoot in the semis. And now we're down to just 2 trucks, Gravedigger and Equalizer. Who's going to win it? Let's watch and find out. Gravedigger with a hole shot. Equalizer has to battle back. He does. What a close one with Equalizer across the finish line first. Equalizer wins it. David Morris shows us that great driving style, and Equalizer defeats Gravedigger for our final.